nota nyadi le men na anara na sabari sonno mo kono ko nyimmari meye kabri nari je meye tulo buza baba dindi jobatela
because Ibrahim bondi bundaro.
Because when he took me away from the gate,
he
took me right into the office.
So I see that
he sat down.
He
put me
come in the front and you demonstrate.
Nyaro ya moliaje. Sira na nyaro. Sira boni tabulo ma hola na nyaro. Wuli.
Bring the chair, let him sit and show us what happened, what he did.
Ko ya itandi commission la menkela.
Please proceed.
After he took me from the gate.
So
could you wait for the yes, please go ahead.
After he slapped me.
So I couldn't do no because
when he slapped me, I fell down.
I couldn't do
that's how he dragged me and took me into an office.
So
just a minute. You mean to say that you were being dragged like a sack?
Yes.
And where were you taken?
They took me to a hall, a big hall which was there.
Was the hall upstairs or downstairs?
It's downstairs.
What's the distance between the point from which he started to drag you to the point where you were taken to, at least to the point you were given a seat?
Dinkira la jamfo be nyoy nyaadi le dinkira men ayaku da mutake kurundu damento anin aye samba dinkira mento jamfo be nyoy nyaadi le
well, it's a little bit distance.
You are a soldier, you can give us an estimate of distance.
Soldier ro muidi isi yirkaro dino mollale ala jamfo
5 meters, 10 meters.
It might be 10 meters, something like that. Yes.
How did it feel being dragged on the ground like that?
Yo ki ta nyaadi le akite fe nyaadi le ke kurundu teroto bankoto nyama.
Ma understand because I don't Mballow from Benyama. I ain't Kenyam, Mballow from Benyam, Ma understand Munana, Dali Jumala, Emaninka, Emalo Jumalem, drag Wanyama, and Samba for offshore. Then I came for a full tema,
I don't know why, because I don't understand it. Just apart from, just after alighting from the vehicle, he slapped me and then dragged me into an office.
I
fell down and he dragged me like that on the ground up to the office, and then he put me between his two legs.
He sat
without asking me.
He sat down and put me between his two legs.
Yes.
I see that's around, so I understand it.
He sat down. He sat down in a chair, and he put me between his two legs, and squeezed me, and then started slapping me on both sides.
So
on both cheeks.
On both cheeks. At that time, many of the NIA operatives came in there.
Let's try to get this picture. When he put you in between his two legs, were you seated on the floor or were you standing?
I
was sitting down on the ground. He was sitting on a chair and I was sitting on the ground.
How many times did he slap you?
Because you can't I
cannot say how many, because when he slaps me, they keep on asking me, and after he slaps, others will also come and start slapping me as he was doing. So this was going along with questions.
In your opinion, who was in charge of the persons who were in the room at the time?
itela mira loro jumala tartanu marali nu molla mbade jumala mu nyato kundon koti o bungo nyin kono ji
wo watola
ah
watola ensavo memarela fode bari.
At that time, I can say that Fodebari was their head.
Apart from, okay, let me put it in a very neutral way. Who were the people present in the room at that time?
o watola jumalde molti men be tarta mabere nu o bungo nyin kono je o watola
Am Jobare beje.
I mean, Jobate was there.
Fodebari. Ani do beje ka fa ninja.
There was another one called Ninja.
Ani atondila bangsa. Ni manja kontong be menna bangsa.
Mun kontom sifa.
mun konton sifa la
Surwa kontongo.
Surwa kontong mulong lande.
Mandinka kontongo. Yola kontongo. Bambara kontongo.
Maybe Jani Beras can on Hatlo Batoma, but I be no.
Well, maybe I might remember the name
You describe
later.
him?
isa mulundanyo yar fo no ba ama
The I balos or le
He was well built.
at Katala Kanaba Lumene and the Samananji.
He goes in and out. But the day I was brought there,
Suroni,
that night,
another Nunje.
he came there.
So not in Savatla, not another no. Liparo container at the phone, Keramori, Melango, Lipakan Kende.
Because the time he came in there, that was the time when they were beating me, and he joined them, and they beat me very well.
Yo, Katafo, ni Salimina drame.
Plus Salmina Drame.
At the Buddha Jarangola.
He is from Jara.
Wofanambe.
He was also there.
So this person whose name you can't remember,
mo me alan ko ima hakilo ma to muta
Salmina Drame,
ninja
Fodebari, Lamin Jobate.
ani lam jaba
Those are the people you have named so far.
yenyu lel gofo
So let's take it step by step.
now ngata simfala
Now you've been brought into this room.
yena ti nyimbo kono silang
You said somebody sat on the chair and placed you in between his legs and squeezed you.
e ko modo sotonda sita sirang ay bula simfara fulol tema ya ba deta kan
Who was this person?
yumala nyum mariti
Lamni Jobat.
Lamin Jobate.
And what is his other name?
to dodu
Baba didn't Jobat.
The other name is Babadin Jobate.
What other position do you know him to have held in this country?
yo yalo ay makama jumala fana marajang nyimban kunkan
Ngalon ko o time abenu NI about record abe lawyer yala no.
At that time, he was at the NIA. Later on, he was a lawyer.
About the magistrate Jojo.
Afterwards, he was appointed as a magistrate or a judge.
About the Minister of Justice.
From then, he was appointed as the Minister of Justice.
Okay, who is the other person that participated?
jumalan mo ko den do di men dabula ta ko nyin kono
You said there were others who would also come and slap you while they were asking you questions.
e ko modol fana ka sotale menu kana e ke tulo busa tembo mene ka tere nyinin kakan
Yes, just because
You do be at a canara, but I also let him. Wofana Manke Salimina, but I also let him. Ninata.
Okay.
there was a man
What's his
who
complexion?
ala kuloro be nyare mo fin ko mo ko
Comes a Mampara Barola, quite a Mampara Barola.
yes, he's in between black and fair complexion.
Did he say Mballow Kanteh?
Mampata Balo.
Comes a Mampara Barola.
Yes, but okay. He says Mballow Kanteh. What does that mean? Could you interpret that?
Mampata Balo means somebody who is in between fair coloredness and dark in complexion.
Okay. All right. And you said Are you okay, Mr. Witness, or you need?
Yeah, okay, I'm okay.
You're all right. Okay. And this person,
you marry.
You don't remember his first name or his last name?
Ma to na konta mo be mutano. Ato ana konta mo.
Hello, but I like immediately, but not to na konta mo be but na mind na tala science thing.
I forgot him just now, but I knew his name and surname all before.
Is that a name that you had given me before?
Mo told you me alon ko ya dindal num commando ba?
Ha nga dilanu commando ban talangi na tala brabe je.
Yes, I gave you the name before. I gave it to you, but maybe now I forgot, but it's there.
Okay, just give me a minute. May I come approach Mr. Chair? Thank you.
Okay, yeah, so the one thing I care man wali.
Mr. Witness,
Sedo,
the chairman has permitted me
chairman is silo dinale.
to give you 10 names.
Mo tanto dila.
Some I plucked out from the air. It's just in random names.
Tol dol beje ngol bondi mfangole karadola.
Some of people who worked at the NIA.
Dol tol mu molder me nan ko be do ko la NIA je fangoto.
And you would, if you remember the name,
ninga tra mari nyinto ya mari muta.
You would tell us which name it is or which name you've remembered.
Ne isa fanye jumale mo mari to ti waranto e hakilo jumale to muta nyimol kono.
James Cisse.
Ila mo ila kamol to lel kontiyete.
Baba Demba. Musa Toure. Tamsir Fall. Hari Sambu.
Aha.
Walam.
Hari Sambu.
Hari Sambu Walem.
Ah.
Yes.
How do you know that
Yeah.
it's Hari Sambu?
Yalo nyaadi le ko Hari Sambulam.
Because it told come say siara je.
Because there were many there.
Do fam be ka fa Joe Mendy.
There was one person called Joe Mendy.
So brief and talk yola.
So when they were torturing me,
Yo, come sa nyina to point do I'll see he karune.
so just in fact I forgot a point. Please forgive me.
Nyen toto me mutara ne fengo amanke kante wala fengo ni nyo waro se be go yen toto nyu waro la.
Because this was the time I was tortured.
So
whenever that time comes around,
Yo ni nyo waro se ro because man comme ça jat kende aso to follow back.
I'm not quite healed. I'm not quite well.
Ni anara ro akana nya fer school ka toto kamura bo janin suma na waro betambela kabirin November kara December so wala na diam ko fan ndare bana waro sira hanin men be sire to be alo because nga fo na waro sira kamal.
Well, this thing happens to me around November to December.
Because
Whenever this comes around, when the time comes around, this was the time they tortured me, so this thing happens to me. And even those I stay with, they know, I told them.
So NIA.
So at the NIA, I know Hari Sambu. There were many of them there at that time.
96.
By the time we were going to the NIA, it was in 1996.
Late Sambaba.
At that time, late Sambaba, he was the director of the NIA.
So
by the time we were being taken there.
So now let's talk about the torture. You told us about being Baba Dinding Jobate putting you in between his legs and he was slapping you.
Baba Dinding ole bula ais India simfarafulul tema darake liba ketlobu.
And others joined in.
Modo kotangol nada kafurama.
Who are those who joined in and beat you?
Jumalong do kotangol do men nada kafama and we liba.
Harisambu was there.
For the bari. Ninja. Salmina. Joe. Any other people may told London.
From some other guys, I don't know their names.
Will be not.
Yes, they were in there.
All these people you named, did they torture you?
All of them beat me. I wouldn't tell lies against them. No, I wouldn't tell lies against them.
I want to get this absolutely, I want to get emphatic answers from you.
And
I remind you that you are under oath. You have an obligation to speak the truth. Salmina Drame, did he hit you?
Salmina Drame, fire Busaleba.
Yes. In fact, he was saying that these people just take them and give them to the crocodiles. Because by the time when we were there, myself and Yaya Drame were in the same cell. They took us towards the area where Bambadinka we were left at the place called Bambadinka, myself and Yaya Drame.
Okay. Just a moment. You said Salmina Drame hit you.
Because Salmina Drama
Yes.
Fodebari?
He was the man hitting me on my head with a stick.
Harisambu, did he beat you?
Harisambu dum fanambulo e malai.
Yes.
And for how long did this particular torture session last? This was your first day at the NIA.
Yakilo baga nyinam dum follow de be NIA. Nyi butero nyi ay wati jellel ta iba ke kangla.
Yes, this question is good. Because this beating, this torture session, the first day when I was taken to the NIA, after they beat me that night, to tell them who I was, whether I was part of the Farafenye attack group or they didn't have anything from me, no answers. Throughout that night, they were beating me, but they were unable to get any response from me. So the following morning, they took me out again, out of Bambadinka.
Up to this moment, you have not been taken to the hospital.
Oh, what will be? No.
How about the bullet wound that you were suffering? It wasn't attended to.
Some of them were even stamping on that area of my leg with their boots, with their shoes.
So
So when it was daybreak the following day,
yen samba yambondi bambadinga
they took me out of Bambadinka.
yen samba officer correct.
They took me to the office again.
So ntarte bulu wala nyama.
That's how I was in their hands.
Be liba ka be nyinen kaka.
They were beating me and questioning me.
Ba hansa ay man kuma soto mbul.
But up to that point, I didn't give them anything.
On this occasion, who was involved?
Jumal Dabo Liver Booter Fulanjo.
O buter fulanja
That second beating,
lam jobare
Lamin Jobate,
de fode bari
Fodebari,
dani samusar Colonel samusar
and Colonel Samsar.
Excuse me?
ha
Who's this third person you mentioned?
Mosa Banja Emem for Taiko Jumaldi.
samusar atle benu babukari jara no ma time
Samsar, he was the next man to Babkar Jata at that time.
But Colonel Samsar was in the headquarters, the army headquarters. He was not at the NIA.
Akobari Colonel Samsa, o watola, abe sojaro la korda baltonu, amantanum ina ela kordato.
yo mbari ngana je senande
Yes, let me clarify that point.
o bere in arje uraro comme ça konton ko la mulon
He came there around after lunch time.
sa ko
Who came there?
Malena Raje,
ate samusar anim babukari jara
Samsar and Babkar Jata came there.
so bere nara
When they came,
yare yen sindi duma
at that time I was made to sit on the ground.
Were you fully clothed at the time?
o watola ila dum fengol bela ba atimbari.
hani
No.
What happened to your clothes?
Mana kene ila dum fengol la.
aro en nadum fengol bondina le fa adarsa na drosola
I was stripped. I was just wearing my underwear, my knickers.
so bere yen sindi duma
When I was made to sit down,
so belli paka wonyama
they were beating me
be nyina ngagam pour sim fam fon sa fon dabije
and still questioning me so that I can tell them that yes, I was part of the group.
so mbeje ro
I was there.
samsar nim babukar jara nata
Samsar came with Babkar Jata.
so bere adunda nan ro
When he entered,
so ata samsar ala ami kombaro nya ndamfu
he himself, Samsar, with his army combat boots, he kicked me.
bere ndamfu ro so demundara kurpanyo kallipan koto
When he kicked me, he started hitting me with his hands on my back.
ani kan dambala samora kala samaro tunko kante
He was also kicking me on my back using his boots.
Could you come to the front and demonstrate to the commission how he was doing it?
Commission nyati nol ba ya tandi bang. Baro ni ka kela nyamen no. Ye baro ni ka kela nyamen no.
waro mbesirin duma
When I was sitting down on the ground
so nina dros kenson
with only my underwear,
so birani babukar jara nata
when he came with Babkar Jata,
so bir adunda nan ro
the moment he came in,
ala ami kombaro ay fadi wala
he kicked me with his army combat.
so birim boyda ro
When I fell down,
so mota ko daga anara ala ami kombaro aka ay tunku kan
he used his army combat and started stamping on my head.
While you were lying on the floor like that?
Wanda wato be lare terror nyala be nyamente.
Yes.
Okay. Can you show us how he was stamping on you?
Faisa tan na silang akadoro ka nyadi le.
aka dronga aka singotu aka singotu kan ya fanje ka woni bandro nen ro
He was stamping on me with insults. Yes, he was using that word and stamping on me.
So, apart from stamping you, did he use his hands against you?
Ninga bota ke ka singota ka tui kan fo ya bulo fanantala ka kukeba.
Ako kurpeno da ka lipan koto.
Yes, he used to blow me on my back with his hands.
Babukar Jata amuta teng.
Babkar Jata came and held him.
Babukar Jata kaya ko, hey.
Babkar Jata said to him, hey. This man has been brought here.
Dol malum ni fada be farafanya fada re farafanya fo mune mala problem o de kay manya sifacha.
We are not yet, we don't know as yet whether he was part of the attackers of Farafenya or not. And now you are treating him like this. Now if you kill him, you will explain yourself. That's what Babukar told him.
But how do you know who was Samsar and who was Babukar Jata? You can take your seat.
Because it all more Babukar Jata, army commander, army commander.
I know them because when I was sitting down there, they told me this is the army commander and this is his deputy.
But how do you manage to remember these names?
It will only have one
They told me, but the Mandinka proverb goes, the person who kills the animal for food, well, he will forget. But the person whom you refuse to give a share will not forget.
So I bet Dr. Caesar didn't know that one. Proceed, Mr.
Ten.
So,
after that, they were still unable to get any.
Mr. Witness, Mr. Witness, do you recall what Samsar was wearing during that event?
He was in full uniform.
How do you know that he was colonel?
He was having the ranks on his body.
It will only have time.
And they also told me at that time.
Can you give us a description of Samsar?
Samsar, amuluntanya ya fo isa ofono nyeba mumonya nyadila.
Samsar adombalona.
Samsar.
At
the time I knew him, he was a tall man. He is not very well built, not to that extent. Because if you compare him with Babukar Jata, Babukar is more well built than him, but he was taller than Babukar.
Okay. In which language did he insult you? You said he insulted you. You also said he said motherfucker. Excuse my language. Did he insult you in any other language?
No, he was just using this word in English.
So after Samsar beat you, what happened next?
Because
what happened?
So another drama.
That was the time they caught Yaya Drame. When Yaya was brought, by that time they had not got any response from me. Now they wanted to release me. And what they said was that as far as we were unable to get anything from this man, if the sun goes down, then we can release him.
Excuse me.
Yes,
you mentioned 2 torture sessions.
Yes.
The first was the day you arrived. And this was the second day you were at the NIA. Was this the time Drame was brought in?
It was the second day that Yaya Drame was arrested and brought in there.
And So what happened when Yaya was brought?
Muna keta bilin Yaya drame nati.
Waro ibe Yaya sambalana sojaroli Yaya escort amina waro mena.
When Yaya came, he was escorted by soldiers.
So yabulo anko fa koma.
His hands were cuffed behind him.
So bira sumandana arela officer beling.
When he just was approaching, at that time their office was open.
Waro ndebe sirin bankoroji.
I was sitting down on the ground in there.
So biri Yaya njero Yaya ko balo.
So when Yaya saw me, he said, "Mballow."
Here, man Cairo. Cairo bandaji.
That was the end of peace for me.
It was
the time they said, so he is one of them.
So
So from that instant, I am unable to know where beatings were coming from.
So
when they beat me again,
do you know who are the people that participated in this beating?
No, time ya samana sojaro ya escort. So mojama be no ma dolbe ofso kono je. Burubiri ya ko balo idendan naloro.
Well, at that time, there were many of them. So when these soldiers escorted Mballow into the compound, and the moment he saw me, when Yaya was brought in, and the moment he saw me, he said, "Mballow." From that moment, these people all came against me.
So we want to know who participated in it.
Mr. Witness,
I menutra of so konoje, other forever of so konoje, Jobare Beje,
the people he found in the office.
Sam Sarbeje, Joe Beje, Joe Mendebeje, even in Fangobe, Salimina Beje, many Harisambu Beje, told baby your time.
The people he counted like this, Joe Mendy, Harisambu, Salmina Drame, they were all present. And Ninja, they were all there.
Did all these people participate in your torture?
Yes, very well.
Kindly tell us the names of those you know tortured you on that occasion. This would be your third torture.
No,
not Lung Sabanjango. Lung Fulanjango, but Liparungo Sabanjango.
Samina Lung Sabanjango la Carola.
Before that, Janio Bekela, Yaya Dramenati, Yalo Wobenta Lung Fulanjango Lefe. Wolunga Wulung killing ye boote sinya fulale kodi. You are keening ka wolela wo booter franjang. Yalo ye boote folokele. Hani fo ifongolo ko wari mankuma soto wabulu. Asike ura ro ngabula. Wo kola lo mila foroto ye Yaya Dramenati. Between Yaya Drame ye to kumandi iko Cairo banda wotumole. So akeening ka wola Cairo la ubandi jumanyo le muruta nang. Kote ke lipa sinya fulanjango wolung killing okono.
I mean to also konoje Jobare Beje for the Barbeje.
Those for killing for the people he found in the office there were Jobate himself plus Fodebari, and
Salmina Beje.
Salmina was there.
Harisambu Beje.
Harisambu was there.
Joe Beje.
Joe was there.
Joe, what's his last name?
Joe Condon.
Joe Mendy.
Joe Mendy.
And who else?
And Ninja.
And Ninja.
And other people, many comes and
some other people. I cannot remember their names because there were many.
At this time, where was Samsar?
He
was there. By the time they were bringing him, he was there, and he was part of the torturing team. He was there.
Babukar Jata, was he there?
He was there, but he didn't touch me. Because it's better to tell the truth. He didn't touch me. He was there, but he didn't touch me.
All right, we would take it again, and we just want clarity as to who tortured you and who did not torture you. I must apologize, Mr. Chair. I just have to do this, be pedantic about it, and make sure that we have it in the record exactly who did what.
ko abe kiyaman aba fala kiyamani ko fonsi nyinke drong isaje kuma seno soto isaje men safero men fanambe safela kuma seno e soto je membe safela je.
Mr. Jobate, did he beat you on this occasion, this second time of torture on that day?
Yes. Mr. Jobate fo ay lipar fulanjaw men ya kela bang.
Yes.
Yes.
For the bari, did he beat you on this second occasion?
For the bari dungo fana lipala bang lum fulanjaw la bang.
Yes, dokolo fama bare bula kam lipam kundu. Always dokolo katare.
Always he was having a stick and he used to beat me on my head.
Salmina?
Salmina drama drum.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, what?
Ha,
he also beat me.
Harisambu?
Harisambu fana.
Yes, Harisambu also.
Also what?
He also beat me.
Joe Mendy?
Joe Mendy fana
Joe Mendy also beat me.
Babukar Jata?
Babukar Jata dum?
No, Babukar Jata mama.
No, Babukar Jata didn't touch me.
Ninja?
Ninja dum?
Ninja yemmal.
Ninja touched me.
Samsar?
Samsar fana yemmal.
Samsar also.
Aye manyadi?
He touched me. He beat me.
And then what happened after all this beating?
Birinyi buterol be bore on kola mune nata nake?
Buterol be kola biri yaya nata waro men.
After all this beating, when Yaya was brought in,
so Yaya samba wolo dola konoje.
Yaya was taken to another hall there.
So ya ura ka ba wulo nyame.
They stripped him completely naked.
So itare ye lemno kumo kundu.
They went and cut some lime.
Ani fanko vinegar.
Plus some vinegar.
Ani essence ote.
Plus some petrol.
So yake cotton do.
And it was put on a cotton.
So waro yende samana wolo nyunkonoje.
And I was also brought into the hall.
So sai ilabra puruka ta.
And now they wanted to that's what they wanted to do was to put that into his anus. And if you do that to a person, he dies immediately. So when they were unable to do that to him,
but did they try?
They tried very well to do it.
Why didn't they succeed?
It might be Allah's intervention.
Did Yaya Drame, did he submit or he resisted?
For Yaya Drame, balantala bang for Yaya find to ibul.
He didn't resist. How can you resist when there were many people against you? Because his right hand was bent and twisted until it was broken.
Who did that?
Many of them were in there, soldiers, Lamin Jobate and others. A lot of them surrounded him. They surrounded him and were standing over him.
Let me ask you this question. You know Lamin Jobate is a trained lawyer.
Yeah, Lamin Jobate, the mold me along ko ay lawyer ay ole karang.
Do you know that?
I know that.
You know Harisambu is also trained in the law.
Yeah, Harisambu fana ke mo mold me along ko ya ay karanta luala karola.
These people know that torturing is a serious offense. Samsar was a very senior officer of the Gambia Armed Forces, of the Gambia National Army. All these people know that torturing is prohibited.
Are
you suggesting that all these people with that knowledge sat there and participated in your torture?
They had no knowledge, because had they if they had the knowledge at that time, they wouldn't have participated. But if they had the knowledge also, then it was useless to them. They wouldn't have done what they did.
So wato tolka menjero wala mo bari ya jamelo palaso nyindila. So we do hola dictate ronye. So the love palaso no anin torno. So we condolum bangu dinja wala rolam bangu din kendol.
What they were doing, it was for a position. Because Yaya Jammeh gave them this position, so they were doing it to please him. So they took us as the bad elements of the country, so they were the good ones for the country.
So this Yaya, you said they tried to insert that object into his anus, but they did not succeed.
Iko ya katale puru kanyim fengota kadunde akoma, but ima keno.
And you said that they pushed his palm, his hand, basically backwards until they broke it.
Andu iko ya ila imbulu teto fana mulu kondi teto mutata ya ngaji fo ya kati.
Yes.
Do you know what else they did to him?
Yala no nyinku fulol kola fo ye kudo fana kala leba.
Je kay tochorun kay container so bandana la nyokando je wolungol nyina birew kala ma soksi ya blokari e ba soksi so after o kola ina ramura wala nyama ka onko fuka afai bamba denka.
Well, after all this torturing, when they were unable to insert that object into his anus, and they went on until they broke his hand, then when all those failed to make him talk, they decided to take him and throw him into Bambadinka.
And handcuffed him and threw him into Bambadinka. And yes. What happened to you?
After that.
So
they came back to me and started asking me, and during that beating, I talked.
So when
I talked,
so
I told them I was part of the team. Because already I knew that when Yaya saw me, I knew that he recognized me.
So
I said to them, yes, I was one of them.
So
that was the time they went on asking me.
So
when they were asking me,
so
and that's the time when I narrated the whole thing to them, how I came into the Gambia, I went to my father, I explained all that to them.
So it had arrest.
So they went and arrested my father.
So I
wasn't there, but as I was told, our compound, soldiers came and surrounded the whole compound when they were arresting my father.
Hold a second. Let's take it a step backwards. In describing your torture for the second day, did, apart from beating you, did they put anything on you?
No, they didn't do anything like that until when they brought my father. They brought my father and one of my sisters called Nyomo Jammeh. And another lady who was brought from Soma with her child, but I don't know them.
So afterwards,
that was the time when they forced me again. They wanted me to say that Jawara was part of it and Sehu Sabali.
So
they said by force those people were part of the attempt, so I have to say that.
Who told you that?
Jobate and Fodebari.
Are you certain?
Yes, I told them that these people, I don't know them, and I cannot say anything like that. Just to save my skin.
Save my life.
But when they brought my father,
sister
plus my sister Nyomo Jamme,
muso do soma ndema wolonde
plus another lady from Soma, I don't know her.
Okay, just a moment. Before you confessed being involved, as part of the torture, did they connect you to any particular object?
Yes, they did that. So that I can talk. Even during the beatings, they did that to me. Yes, they electrocuted me sometimes. But yes, they were doing that, electrocuting me. It went on for so many times in those 2 days. Sometimes they'll put it in my ear, sometimes on the sole of my feet.
The electrocution device, to what was it connected, as far as you know?
Yes, they put it, it's just wires fixed to a plug.
So so ya ala fenge masa mananda feel masa mananda so ya ke singoro ani tuloro jante.
They will come and put it on your leg or in your ear, on your ear. The time when we were there, that's how they were torturing us.
Did they burn you with anything?
Yes, I'm coming to that also. When they brought my father, plus my sister,
so it was the time they brought me out of Bambadinka. After bringing me out of Bambadinka, so
they stripped me in front of my father.
Thank you very much. Proceed, please.
When I was brought, my father was sitting down. My sister was there. There was another lady who was arrested in Soma with her child. So the underwear I had was taken off me, and I was stark naked in front of my father. So they tied my hand. So and they tied me just as when they are about to slaughter a cow. So when they did that to me, so they brought a bag. So they gave Joe Mendy this plastic bag. So I told them for the they were the people standing over me for the Barry Joe Mendy and Baba Dindin Jobate. So they lighted this plastic bag and were putting it on my body so that I can talk. When they put light to it and when it was burning, that oil or that liquid from the burning plastic will be stripping on me. So that's what they were doing. So Baba Dindin took one of my breasts and cut it off with a razor blade.
Excuse me, Mr. Witness. What do you mean by what you have just said?
Yeah, men for the science.
He just cut off my one breast with a razor blade because of wickedness.
So you mean to say that one of your nipples is gone, but because Baba Dinding Jobate took a razor blade and cut it off?
Yes.
Mr. Witness, you are on the oath.
I have sworn, and I will not tell lies against him. Because when he came and found me in the jail, I told him that I can forgive, but I will never forget. And wherever I am asked, I will narrate it.
How did he respond?
He just bent his head. There's nothing he can do.
Are you willing, Mr. Witness, to show this to the commission?
Yes, really, very well.
Go ahead. In the meantime, Mr. Chairman, I have pictures, so I would share the pictures for the commissioners to have a better look. Could you show the commission? And let this be filmed, please. Mr. Witness, you don't mind it being filmed and showed to the public, do you?
For television or
no problem. No problem.
Please go ahead. To the chair. The left breast.
Yes, it's the left breast.
I think it's quite obvious that something is missing on the left breast. The nipple is missing. But what are those spots just below your breast?
Those marks were caused by liquid of a burning plastic. Because when they were torturing me, so they told me you will never get married again. Jomendi told me that if we deal with you, you will never be able to function as a man, never again until you die. I told him, you said what you intend.
Ma Allah Ta'ala ma so la kuma ko mai.
But I haven't heard it from Allah.
Allah ko nta futo no la.
If Allah says that I will not be able to function as a man again, well, that's what will happen. My father was sitting down. My father cried. My father told them his deeds. I wasn't aware of it. But saying that I am his father. Yes, I am his father. From this world till the next world. Because when Yaya Jammeh was taking over this country, he didn't inform his parents. This man also didn't inform me. If he had told me, I wouldn't allow him to do it. And they told my father very hard words. Then my father became sick after. Up to this time.
Out of conscience.
Up to this time,
let him sit down.
My father cannot recover. Up to this moment, he is just like that.
Mr. Witness. Mr. Witness, before you wear your clothes, did they do anything to you below your nipple? Below your belly button?
For a kukela lebang, batakumo ya du mala, for ila tilimbali afutata jelebang. Yes, there was a time when I cannot even urinate because they treated me in many different ways.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I have pictures of that too. Please wear your clothes and be seated.
Mballow Kanteh haketu keneke bara baraka ye amani information mendi commission la bara haketu.
Mr. Chair, I have provided the Commission with a set of pictures just showing the types of scars on the witness's body. Mballow Kanteh.
Mballow Kanteh.
Now,
who would you say are the people who are responsible for all this suffering you went through at the NIA? All of them.
Ite ba fola jumale tarta marling nyum kuola nyin dete jawo ni nyum kolya jawol men late kan NIA nyum molbe iba fola jumale ma kundu ko be jumale marla kola.
Name all of them.
Ibe tofo.
Baba Dini
Njobate. Fode Bari.
Salmina
Drame.
Hari Sambu. Samsar. Joe Mendy. Ninja. They
were there.
Thank you very much.
Number.
But as at the time they were doing all this to you, in the presence of your father, where were these women that you mentioned, who you said were also arrested?
They were sitting there. The other one was my sister. The other woman, I don't know her, but she was arrested from Soma.
There was also a child, you said.
Yes, the lady had a child. She was arrested from Soma.
And was the child also present when you were being tortured? When you were being spread like a cow under the slaughter, as you put it?
Didn't know you from the Mabere no bang, what on the Koy Muta city, Koy land the Koy and Ninso landing Yamini Canatela.
She said, the Susu didn't want to babble fangsa, Yaniola Aresna.
Didn't know you be Mabere in Jila, Kenyan Gawal.
Ah, Beja, Susu didn't want to babble.
Yes, the child was there because the child was a suckling child.
Yaniola from Aresna. The
child was suckling. I don't know how many months or years did that child have, but the child was suckling.
So in my sister,
my sister is called Nyomo Jame.
Baby Jelawaro Ben Tocho Kelana Waro Yen Ura Kombai Ulu Yam Fama Yatlo, I need to be Yatlonology. So Mfama Kumbora Koiko, I live from Jala, Ndela Ulu, I live from Kabunda for Jam Ndela Ulu, Dundan Banaro, Femfenkera and Banaro, Ndela Ulu.
Yes, but then it happened in the presence of all these people I mentioned. But when they were doing this to me, the time they stripped me naked, my father cried and told them, well, he is my biological son. Whatever you do to him, okay, but I will never reject him. He is my son.
And you told us earlier that something happened to your father.
Ah, you come from Fama. So I called me another can farm out of concert because I'm farmer with Damon Rodal. I'm under more Conora.
Yeah, they told him many hard words, which later traumatized him to the point of being somebody who is not mentally balanced nowadays.
Because before not do my dobeji.
Because even today, I have one of my younger brothers.
Sana is staying in jail.
Sana is staying there.
So I had to cut farmer, Balapurkam farmer, and Bama Dindini.
He's always there to help my father plus my stepmother.
So I find no Biradia Morabi.
I informed him that I am going to do my testimony today.
So because Hadamadi Mankana.
Because people are not equal.
So Janim Modo Bira, Fly, Yado, and Akudo Siama Kotek.
Before somebody will go and explain it to him in another way, and which might create another problem for him. I told him to be near him all the time. Before he will think that I am in a problem or something has happened to me which might cause another problem for him.
Up to this moment, up to the point you confessed,
for what woman is on the court to call like
did you receive any medical attention?
For ye Jaralo Itilin Bunda Tili Lava.
And a motel enough after being called Baker.
No, they didn't give me.
No, just answer that question.
No.
Okay. So, at what stage were you made to make a statement on GRTS?
What did you malam in Arane fit in the Purieta Kumakao di GRTS?
Brian torturing Baker for parade.
After all this torturing until they were ready,
I don't know drama.
By that time I was there with Yaya Drame.
So I don't know more someone follow.
Because by that time the others haven't arrived yet. Omar Esa and Omar Damfa, they have not yet arrived.
Suleiman
Sar.
So Waro and Dolmofolo Samba Teller.
That was the time when the two of us were taken in front of the TV.
So Waro Mballow Kanteh, so
and that time, my body was burnt, and even if you look properly at that time, there were some water drips coming out of my body.
So time for almost 1.5 days.
And that was the time it went up till 1.5 days. I am unable to urinate.
So he left a pipe or sambalana purkabulana.
They wanted to bring a pipe so that I can be able to urinate. I said to them, no, I refused.
Because no one is standing for around Tinal.
They might damage me.
So
Then I rejected that.
So
and that was the time if I have water to drink,
So naran sumunano.
I always recite something and spit it inside the water and drink it until Allah helped me to be able to urinate. That's how it happened.
I am interested in how your statement on GRTS was done.
Sularine ka long ila kuma kan nying mi men di GRTS teleto akeno ra nyaadi le.
How was it organized?
Ya ko nyi landi nyaadi le.
Aku comme je to liya do ilaftala nyamen do.
Well, they organized it as the way they want it to appear. That's how they decided to do it.
Who decided on what you were to say on GRTS?
Jumale kango di be ko wala kuma kango be mem fola teleto.
Yen to bonna ena ele comme ça ya itandina ko ale mem fo biri ben to chola waro man ngam fo je bo kuma kan kilon pour sita o sengan GRTS.
What they told me was that during the torturing session after I confessed, they told me to repeat the same words in front of the GRTS cameras.
So do kono force la pour ka irandi ko jawra dawe ndo la kudeta lo wala seku sabal dawe yandunda ma wollo.
And in that they made it a force on us to say that Jawara was also involved with Sehu Sabali, and I didn't know those people. That's how they did it.
Did you say that?
I said it. It's even in my statement, it's there, because by the time I was doing this, I was not myself.
Because
the time when they were torturing me was the time when they were writing that statement.
Do you recall the person who was writing the statement?
Lamin Jobati.
Do you recall who told you to say that Jawara and Sehu Sabali were involved in the attack?
For Hakilo Samurano, Jumale Yininka or Wardo Jumale for a Kafo Yafo ko, Jawaran in Sehu Sabala, Dabalo, Idabalo, Boinka in Conal.
Whatever.
Was he alone? Was he the only person who said it?
Adam Male of Banfo?
At Lem Moribra for Dron, so Busobe Job, Ninja Banka Baffling a Dia. Yes.
He was the person who said that, and by that time, Joe was having this nylon bag which was burning, and he was spilling this nylon, burnt liquid nylon on me, saying that, speak, if I am ready with you, you will not be able to function as a man again.
Who else told you to say that Jawara and Sabali were involved?
Watakola Jumala Fana yo for Puri Ita Yafoko, Jawara ning Seku Sabal Daba Boinga in Conole.
Ngamo 4 days la time.
At that time I had it only from 4 days.
Okay. Earlier on you told us that Baba Dindin Jobate also said so. Which is which?
Comment to ye infonyela ko Baba Dindin Jobate Fana ye infone Puri Yafo. Say Jumala and Jumati.
I told move for
Yes, all of them said this, but it was not at the same time.
But you are certain that both of them said it?
Yes. Yes.
You are on the oath?
I swear I know that I am on the oath. Even in my statement, if you check, you'll find it there.
Okay. All right. So, the confession you made on television, was it voluntary?
Because it told somebody and do
no.
Courier wrong because Magandiano by Sambo Betel Bulogan.
No.
So for say somebody
No, it was against my will because they had power in their hands. And I had no choice. And that's what they wanted. So they took me there and made me say these things.
After your confession, what happened? After you were presented before the GRTS, what happened?
So NIA.
After that, I was brought back to the NIA.
So
I was placed in Bambadinka, myself and Yaya Drame.
So ngarta Bambadinka je.
So we went on continued staying at Bambadinka.
So wokono.
During that period,
inara try pour doctor rol kanandol jibe.
They tried and made it possible for doctors to come and check us there.
So Dr. Dola kabonande RBH.
Some doctors come from the RVTH.
So kanaje.
They come there.
So karwaro ndela Mballow abe malata abe palpalta fojie kabal.
Because at that time, all my body was burnt, and in fact, some water was dripping out of some of the sores on my body.
So arovana nanyin singo fana keso madamendo.
And also my leg where I was shot with a gun bullet.
So waro fana keso be okona manjara lo soro fana yelo ka budinje.
And in around that time there was still a bullet lodged in my leg and it was bleeding too.
So waro wol kana kan check jeno.
Yes, those doctors used to come there to check us.
So itarra fo alalde maronara.
That's what they were doing until when Allah's help arrived.
Tarraje kabri November.
We were there since from November,
December, January. Malon January till July, not transfer mile two.
I cannot remember which day it was in January when they transferred us to mile 2.
Up to this stage,
have
you seen a lawyer?
Oh, yeah, lawyer Jelabang.
La ilaha illallah. Lawyer, mo for time.
Nobody mentions a lawyer at that time.
O time o soldier role men for all control country. So ye soldier role someone special men can anim paral, anim police all.
In fact, in those days they brought in police, soldiers, and members of the paramilitary unit to guard us.
Because you know the point killing na je.
I forgot one point. In fact,
waron be Bambadinka je biri torturing in bacon.
When we were in Bambadinka after the torturing session,
lungo do be je be siri Bambadinka kono.
There was a day when I was sitting inside Bambadinka. I was listening to the radio and I heard my own obituary being read over Radio Gambia.
So it will find you finding Bambadinka Radio Gambia.
They brought me out and they themselves were questioning me. Who took this obituary to Radio Gambia?
For policeman or over an Birkama.
Until one policeman came from Brikama. He was among those who were guarding us. But a very good person. I forgot his name. But he once traveled and went to Basse.
So
the night he came back, his sons or his children told him, it was announced over GRTS that Mballow has died. They said his corpse has been taken to Pakali today. The following morning, early, that man came to the NIA and went to Bambadinka and asked them, where is Mballow?
So I told him, iso telefona kai ko telefona mo jane ba fo kan ata fam findina na sinda tulo ba.
Then the reply they gave him was that well, we also had this announcement from the place here, and in fact we brought him out and talked to him, but it was announced over the radio.
So when you are taken now to Mile 2 prison, where were you detained?
Biri yesamba Mile 2 Kasibumbaro. Yesamba Mintole, Kesindi.
Yes, samba confinement number 1.
I was taken to confinement number 1.
VIP or below VIP?
VIP mo kumal lagi samba dame do bang fo amang kany mo ningol men man kumaya ba ge samba dame.
Ani je kay comme c'est ka ni isa fono comme ça ka ni ben masa kunda dunda nyole comme c'est ma anya so ni masa kunda dunda nyola e ka comme ça jongol dal.
Well, just like slaves, people who were not in good terms with the government, they were treated like slaves, and a place where they took us to was a place only fit for slaves.
Could you describe the conditions?
Dingrani yalma wada men do fo si jël al halo ni sa phone akay baro ni akay nyani phone no nyeba.
Because ndolbe damando.
Because where we were kept,
Bunda sabala bentol nin dolu fanante.
there were 3 doors between us and the others.
Labam fanka jeto la Rebel Island.
In the end, we called that place as Rebel Island.
Rebel Island.
No, Robert Island.
Robert's Island.
Robin Island.
Robin Island.
Yes, Robin Island.
So
That place,
Brian dol sambaje.
when we were taken there,
So ibuka so moye futama yika bunda saba fu bunda nani jane be futala ndol mawul.
they don't allow people mostly to reach us because you have to pass through 3 to 4 doors before reaching us.
Jane be futala ndol mawul la.
Before you reach us.
In your cells,
In a cell kono.
how were you sitting there? Were you restrained or you were free?
Itarta siri nunje nyali la fo itarta sistiri ne bang fo betar be fande bu.
Brian dol futala je jolo amanke anko foti de. Amanke anko foti de jolo.
When we reached there, the type of restraint they put on slaves, that was the type of restraints, chain irons, which were put on us, not handcuffs. That's what they attached on our legs and on our hands.
So
that's how we were inside those cells.
How long did it take in your detention before these chains were removed?
Wati jellelta itarta Morocco no wato menna janni be nyin chainol bondile bulol bala bata singo bala.
Yo janni be keno bondila bulol bala ya amra o man sa on fa bang because bere yen sambaje.
I thought it might be up to 1 year because from the time we were taken there, these chains were put on us until we started going to court. When we are about to go to the court, we go with these chains. Because myself and my people, I was the first accused person.
So,
whenever we were going, as we go into the truck with them, they escort us with their armor cars,
so you can escort for court.
And that's how they take us all the way to the court.
So
we go into the box with those chains.
Just so-called judges.
I can say there were only so-called judges, about 3 sitting in front of us.
What do you mean by so-called judges?
You know, so-called judges.
Because the
reason why I said that, because although I didn't go to school, formal schooling, I didn't do it, but I know it might be against the law for somebody who has been taken to court to still be restrained like that.
Okay. During this, in the meantime, your other colleagues, what happened to them?
For what? Imonyo do kote ngono. Mune nare na ke wonna.
Namonyo jumalu.
Dampa.
Okay.
Sar. Aning Balde. The question is, at what stage were they apprehended?
Okay,
yes, they were also arrested and brought to the NIA, but they found us at the NIA.
Do you know whether they were tortured at the NIA?
Yes, they were tortured. Although we were not together, but they were tortured. Because yes, and during those torture sessions, although we were in a different cell, but you can hear their screams and you can recognize the voice.
While you were at NIA, did you give a confession about the guns, the hunting rifles that you received?
fo I sonta nyin na laban kido nyin na kora mem munyi o kido nyin na kora ban ka ko ya sota laban
Cartouche ye tunkan.
Wo nga wo foje nga fo.
Yes, I mentioned it there.
Did you tell them the name of the person who made them?
Ya fo enda ba mo mari nyi meyo cartouche dada ba.
Nga fo ena ba comme ça sa nyina ra to la bar nga fo je.
Yes, I said it. But right now I forgot the name, but I mentioned it to them there.
Does the name Sehu Kamara ring a bell?
Ning Sehu Kamara to moy fo si yakilo bulandi mo to la ba.
Wala fam.
Yes, he's the very guy.
Do you know what happened to him?
Yalla na munana kedala ba.
Go berin dole afara fani attaque don. Nga to fo don itara arrest na aning dinde mo me alon ko sanji tani sey kabiro do mani yo fana arrest na aning kabiro do mani be keba men bulu fara fani so yo fana arrest na.
Yes, the moment I mentioned his name, they went and arrested him. They arrested the young man who was Kabiro's younger brother, the guy who was 18 years old, and they also arrested the landlord. And the landlord where the man was staying.
The landlord?
Yes, the landlord.
What has the landlord got to do with it?
All they said was that was the place where we stayed. That's why he was arrested.
Okay. Do you know what happened to
I forgot one point. The yard owner was arrested along with his wife.
The wife too?
Yes.
Do you know what happened to Kamara?
Yeah,
to Sehu Kamara?
Sehu Kamara laba.
Sehu Kamara bri asama njere ya barande bak.
Sehu Kamara, when he was brought there, he really suffered. Because they took him to another place. I think he stayed at that place for some time, and I think he was tortured there.
Do you know whether he is still alive?
Yeah, na fahani kabi. Fabe baluri na ba.
Yes, Kamara, I heard that he has passed away.
Do you know how soon he passed after his torture at NIA?
Yeah, ne bang pirin ya muta ya sama na NIA ya tajire ya je abulare ko la wati je delta janninga be banna.
Amamme.
It didn't take long.
1 month, 2 months?
Killing Karifula.
Amra na siara atatambila karsa bola wrong.
If it maximum, I can say it will be not more than 3 months.
But of course, this is hearsay.
But you moira cold.
Yes.
And while you were at mile 2, were you charged?
Tembo mena benu mile 2. Foi tu mirde ikango dale banka foi nyine tinyo luala karola ba.
Ani ngawat kejele jani ibe charge so nyi sambalana.
No, we were there for some time before they brought on those charges.
How long?
Wati je delta janni be tu mir kaytol nat lal kan.
Tumur kayto nyi ngamira insafo no ngamira karkelin kejele wala tumando bar namiror. Go sumang nyina da ku jamana ba namiror nga karkelin kejele wala men siara ori. So time olem.
Everything exactly. But I can say about that, that was the time when these charges were brought, either 1 month or a little bit after that.
Could you tell us the conditions in the cell, the conditions of the cell you were detained in?
Mile 2 NIA council.
At mile 2?
Ako foi si selo nyina alhalo mile 2. Foi si je fono nye banga jebe nyadi le.
Yendol samba selo men do selo nyindo yara.
The cell where we were put in is a very small cell.
O selo nyi?
That cell,
Birian sambaje.
when we were taken into that cell,
Nga babar yaro tranunje babaro ka wala comme ça babar telam.
it was a plank of wood which we found inside there.
So babar telam nyi.
That plank of wood,
So ngalla wala kan.
that's what we used to lie down on.
So mbeje mbajatem bulde.
We were there and we had no blankets,
Fendembul.
nothing else.
Beje for ngakumas kata court.
We were there until we started going to court.
So warom biraje ndol biraje warom nga sisele traje.
Duma Sise.
Sandarmo koro ma for Modu Sise.
The time when we were going there, we found somebody called Modu Sise. He was one time a gendarme officer. But he was not there for a long time. So at that time when we were going to court, we used to go with short trousers, barefoot, and also chained. So one day, Sise came there just when we were about to go. He sent one of his officers and told him to go and buy a pair of shoes for me. But when these shoes were brought, because he was not that powerful, I think I wore those shoes only one day and it was taken away from me. That's how we went on going to court. But before we went to court, the charges, there was a man called Pambai.
And the Interior Minister, member this right now.
And the Interior Minister presently, who is the present Interior Minister,
it only charges so somebody mile 2.
They brought the charges for us at mile 2.
So very charges so samana.
When these charges were brought,
and what is the name of the Interior Minister?
Yes, yes.
There was somebody I come very charge.
And that's what he said to us. When he came, they said, we are sent here to come and prepare these charges for you.
Charge.
And we were charged.
Treason charge.
Treason.
9 charges and charge one.
Yellow?
9 charges.
9 counts of treason. That's what we were charged with.
I want to know the conditions of the cell. Okay, were you allowed to have shower?
Lafta selo nyin alhalo nyin lonna fo ikasilo dia la pour aliye kuba
ikara fo ndol taraje fo karwo.
We were there up to 6 months.
Manjelam farawa.
We never had the chance to take showers.
6 months.
Karwo.
Yes.
So karwo kono.
Within those 6 months,
buga findi de.
You don't go out.
Ye komsa ni kalono me katulo keje.
Just like these small oil gallons.
I think the 20 liter. So that's what they cut in half. When it was cut off, they will give one half to the other man and the other half to somebody else. That's where you do your everything. So in daybreak, when it is daylight, so mess boy member. So the mess boys who are there. So 6 months. So within those 6 months, those mess boys are the people who will come and collect those things and go and empty them. So near empty. After they were emptied, they will bring them back. And when lunch is also brought, just like if you have a sheep in a house, so just how you treat a sheep, you will just come and put the food inside. If your food is placed inside, they lock up the door.
You were under seal pretty much.
Yes.
For how long? It went nearly up to 2 years. And in fact, the thing went on until I became fair-colored. So if you touch my skin, it burns like pepper. So that's the type of condition we were in at that time. How about the food?
No,
that's not at all good.
Because we are on mile 2. By
the time when we were going to mile 2,
Fango tabi ka futo ke simo de ka kombi fo chaka.
And in those days, when they knew that we are coming, there was somebody who they used to call Sefla.
What's his first name?
Yeah, Jaju.
Yeah, Jaju.
Yes, proceed.
So, they
changed everything.
So, by the time of Anna,
but at that time also, Sise was there.
But Sise manna meje.
But Sise didn't stay there long.
Ani dobeje kafa ndaw keba sutungolenteng abora sukuta.
And there was a short old man from Sukuta, Ndau.
Nyinata la sona baba ndaw.
But it's Ndau.
Sut man on keba sutungolenteng.
A short old man.
But wole yo kuo fango beto baro purun to law domoro isa falun kana domor kendo soro time on.
I think that was organized by that man so that we will not get good food.
So time on mbuka domor kendo soro.
You don't get good food at all.
So ntarta wolo kono.
That's how we were there.
So for kaso a problem o do soro no.
Until there was a problem in the jail there.
Aro lungomene yentol sentence death sentence.
The day we were sentenced to death, they said we should be killed. That was the day. That problem occurred in the prison.
So that's
how Morisise was removed from the prison.
David.
And David was put in charge.
So David who?
David Colley.
David Colley.
Was he a good prison manager?
For ila londoro David Colley nyaton ka kendo la mbande kasibungoro jeba
amankata wala fa
far from that.
What do you mean?
Ilo ko tomboleti
David ngalo fondara ngato la nga fa John Furone ne prison jamaay nga ba ndel ka fa John Furone.
David, I knew him to a level that I gave him a nickname called John Furunding.
What is that? What is John Furunding? What is Furunding?
John Furunding.
John Furunding. Comme ça au molti donc
just somebody who is bad. That's why I just gave him that name.
Okay, so you were in mile 2 and now you are sentenced to death.
Yes.
Yes.
What happened? Did anything happen to any of your colleagues?
Yes, they were all locked up and said they should be killed. But before we were locked up, just a little bit before our court was to start, Yaya became sick. Before they passed the sentence on us,
so
Yaya became sick.
Of what?
Internal bleeding.
Internal bleeding.
This internal bleeding, how did he get it?
Internal bleeding,
because of the beatings. That's how he got it.
And then what happened to him eventually? When we were in the jail and after these torturing things started to have a toll on him, inside his cell there, because his leg was restrained by an iron chain, likewise his hand.
So till danda inara bondi asamba ila headquarters.
A few days later, he was removed from there and taken to their headquarters. There was a place where they decided to lay him down, and still his leg and hand were chained. Because it didn't take him long. He became sick on a Sunday, and he died the following Sunday.
Would you say he died or he was killed?
Well, because he was removed from the cell and taken to that other place.
Maybe to la ya labanjele no.
I can say that they finished him up from at that point.
No.
You know, you can see that when he became sick, the type of blood that comes out of him.
From where? Which part of it?
Balo minto yinjelo ka findi damendo.
He was bleeding from his backside, his mouth. Yeah, he was bleeding from all these parts. But when he died, I can say they killed him. After they did that,
so after court.
Then after that, we went to court. When we were going to court, we didn't see him. But already we had information that he had died. Because wherever you go in this world, there will be a good person.
So when
we went to court, so these judges asked about him. They said, "Where is Yaya?"
So
so one doctor was called.
So
This doctor, he was asked. He said Yaya died at the hospital. I said in my mind, you have just told a big lie. You are not even afraid of Allah. You are not afraid of anything. You decide to stand here and tell this big lie. By the time when we were going to court, they didn't even allow us to see our family members. Because the first day when we arrived at the courthouse, what the judges told us, if I can remember properly, somebody called Judge Coker.
Presiding judge.
He was the presiding judge.
The
presiding judge was Judge Coker, but there were two other judges. There were three in number.
So
the judge, he told us, do you want a jury or do you want these three judges? I said to him, we don't want these three judges, we want a jury.
Okay.
He said, okay.
So
he wrote that. But at that time, he alone comes. We were taken back to mile 2. The following day, when we came back, he said to us, the government said they cannot pay a jury. They will take these three judges. But what they will do, your families will not take lawyers for you. And your friends will not acquire the service of a lawyer for you. All people, my friends, relatives who can take a lawyer for me, they refused and said there will be no lawyer for me. And your court case,
family members not
even a single person of your family members will attend the court cases. And no civilian will come who will attend the case. And no journalist will be allowed to attend the court.
So
just like how they want to do it,
so you can
that's how they take us to court, except with soldiers plus paramilitary.
So you mean the court, there was no audience, the public was not allowed?
No. Plus 2 white men were there. I don't know who gave them the information at that time. I saw these 2 white men came. I was in the box. We were in the box and they passed. They came and they entered the courtroom.
official
The judge told the officers to take these white men out.
So
would you say this was more or less trial in camera, trial in secret?
I left off a low kidio ni yake ni nyame na wala mnyindugo yake kulola kono.
I man love moya long, I man love moya kalamuta fana. So ni left a menkelan dollar no. Hani left am fala le secret ro kono sake no. Mo kana kalamuta na family kana kalamuta dunia kana kalamuta yake wala nyamaro.
Yes, they were doing it in secret because whatever they wanted to do, maybe they could have even killed us in secret. So this is how everything was going on. They don't allow our family members or anybody to come and attend the case.
You told us that they did not even allow you to choose your own lawyers.
Yeah, infonya ko andu mansilo fanan dialla pour alfa kundingol ni ali alfa sul loyal tombo.
Ye wala famu ban follow janni ba fana nyalla bari mo tata.
That's what they banned before they even told us that your relatives will attend it.
Did you, in the trial, challenge the admissibility of the confession you made at the NIA?
Iti dula nyinto fo inata na balang ilo songo nyinna labang ye songo menke NIA kiti dingira nyinto fo inata na ofindi ndi jela bang ka fo ko ibalanta nunjel bari ye force ki NIA
ha kiti dula ro na statement o kono ko dolbe je bere nyini nga wala kiti dula nyinto ye balanda wala le.
Yes, at the courthouse they asked me about certain things in our statement. We rejected, we resisted and told them that no. Because the lawyers that were given to us,
Raymond
Sok,
and Hamate,
plus
Hamate.
So you lawyer follow, but Janin Dolphon will be lawyers.
But before you have our lawyers,
lawyer Bukhani Kalon Doleo time.
There will be no lawyers who is brave enough to stand for us.
Because case Siland Lewaro Jamela Cole with Darian so that case Landile.
So that time,
Lord I am Befala and Befala, Momo Lord and Befala, lawyer follow. Just he was killed wrong.
they used to scare them.
Wakil by mantra hanging found all found mantra, all found mantle defense no honey 5 minutes.
They just took the case, but they were always scared that anyone who stood for us, they would kill them. And so their representation was not even more than 5 minutes.
Did you show the court the injuries that you sustained in the hands of the NIA?
Ye bar moment so do NIA bulo kono fo ya itande kiti dingira nyi dole ba.
Nga itande kiti laro ma akisa bu yalo e mem fanya ko nyako eni bar mol borana la beriale.
I showed it to them at the court, but they would not accept. They told me that I came with those injuries from Liberia.
Including your missing nipple?
Haning sunjo fana men fana kundura yo fana ko fana nyo baraji.
Be fokeso e madam nda be nga wura je nyamende. Nga wura je wala nya.
All of it, just as I undressed here, the same way I undressed there.
Do you believe you had a fair trial?
Fo ila ta nyinna lako ila kiti yo nyinga nen tilingo le taraba.
Not close to it at all.
You believe you were convicted even before you set foot in that court?
Yes, that was how they did it.
And Dolphon, the Iberia condemn you called Be like your Ngalongo, Eben Soronal. I do far off on our Lima.
Yes, and in fact, we even contemplated being killed. For me to be here today, we did not even believe I would get to this day.
Thank you very much. Subsequently, you were serving death sentence. Did anything happen to your sentence later?
No sorondro kunara na kala because very jani ben sentence la randene na mol ni ben ni kala ndal follow ka diam so we can box so nyong on 2 days ben fan defense ka so very en soron fana beje from somehow e ko nyako ingal soron death sentence.
Yes, in fact, amongst our people, when they are asking questions, I was the one who used to respond.
So for 2 days, I gave my defense until I was told that we were going to be in prison.
So
While we were imprisoned, when they were sentencing us, what they told us was that it was a death sentence and that we were going to be killed.
Within 25 days.
And that was going to be within 25 days. If your appeal is not successful, we will kill you. But before we kill you,
Minister of Justice,
the Minister of Justice, at the time it was Hawasise Sabali.
So, Minister of Justice,
and whatever Minister of Justice is in office at that time would sign that document. But as soon as we were sentenced, I think it was just for a couple of days and she resigned. She resigned her position. And then?
So
when we came to the prison, and we were serving our sentence,
25 days
before the 25 days,
so
the appeal came out. When the appeal came,
so
we went to the appeal.
So
but that appeal,
so
then they told us that came from Yaya Dabo judge's mouth. He came to ourselves and said to me, your appeal has come, but now you will not secure the services of a lawyer. Your relatives too will not secure the services of a lawyer for you. The government will give you a lawyer. I said, really? And they said, yes. I told him, well, you just see how you want it and do it that way. But before they could get a lawyer, we used to go to the court and come back, and it took a long time before they could secure a lawyer for us. Until one man called Matthew Mendy, he represented the four of us.
So Matthew Mendy,
he tried a lot.
Martin Mendy,
yes. He is now late.
He's now there, yeah. So
He defended us and he tried a lot.
During the appeal,
even prepayment during the appeal. During the appeal, I showed him all my torture.
But
despite all of that, he started the case. But they would not accept it.
So
after the court came to an end, he said, your sentence has been waived, but now you don't have a sentence. The government said that they will not release you.
International Court of Justice,
London. That they will take your case to the International Court of Justice in London.
Privy Council.
Yes, exactly. That's the place. That was where they took our case to. When they took our case there, we were there.
So 2000.
They sent documents.
So
what they sent, they showed them that we were acquitted and discharged. So for them to release us.
So by Wolf only lawyer Dauda and Andrew Thomas.
They provided us lawyers called Dauda and Andrew Thomas.
So by
but they said that they will not release us.
But are you sure about this?
They told us already that they will not release us.
You said this to me, that the government said they will not release you, but they will take your case to another court.
Wasn't it the case that your sentence was reduced to life imprisonment instead of death?
Fo nyina manga ko nyinti bang Allah sorondiro nyengi inata na talale ka bondi ko nyanta fala ya bondi odo ko say albidal albal sio bele la kasor
ani Martin Mendy ya men fondole.
No, what Martin Mendy said to us,
akonya ko the life hotel law no la.
He said that the life sentence cannot stand.
Men certain a life for law.
Because what will make it stand?
Those
charges were not brought here.
Charges so law no la ka ko evidence charges le me life o nyinsina law no.
That cannot stand because the charges have to come with evidence which can make it stand.
So birimbe mbuka uniform mbuka kasola uniform mbuka fendo. While
we are in detention, we did not wear the uniform of the inmates. We were dressed in our civilian clothes.
So detention for 2004.
So we were in that detention up to 2004. When Charles Taylor's government was ousted, the people that were there, when they came,
so
they arrested Abulai Sonko in Nyomi Berending.
So
when they brought him,
so Abulai for treason charges.
Abulai too was charged for treason.
After Abulai attacking Kerano.
At the time that we did the attack,
Abulai escaped.
Abulai had escaped and returned back to Liberia. When Charles Taylor's government was no longer in power and he returned, that was when he was arrested in Nyomi Berending.
So
and they brought him to Mile 2. When they brought him to Mile 2,
so Abeje,
he was there. He was going to court and coming back.
So ala
according to what he told me,
the
first lawyer that his family secured for him was Hussein Udabo.
So
when they secured that lawyer for him,
so I
think that went for a little while.
So another family.
He called him and the family. He said to them the way he saw the court proceeding, they could not charge him for treason. That if you committed a crime in your country and you run away and stayed abroad for so many years and return, even if you are to charge, it cannot be for treason.
Mr. Chair, maybe he must have been referring to statute of limitations, but we cannot guess. Proceed.
Opposition.
Since he was an opposition member, and so he withdrew from the case.
So
and then they secured the services of my party.
So
when they secured the services of my party,
my
party then became his lawyer.
So
so within that,
so my evidence against Abulai Sonko.
They did not have evidence against Abulai Sonko.
But Abulai Sonko
outside that can prove, or someone from outside who can come and testify that Abulai Sonko was a part of the attackers of Farafenni.
So
then they came after us in prison.
DPP member Ajim, what time wala vision.
The DPP at the time was Ajim.
So Narani Suleiman Sar Taji.
They came and took me and Suleiman Sar.
GPP la officer.
They took us to the DPP's office. They told us that the DPP wants you to answer to him. So when we went there,
GPP ko.
The DPP said,
any evidence outside
we don't have any evidence from outside which can say that Abulai Sonko was a part of the attack of Farafenni. But they wanted to use us to implicate Abulai Sonko to be as being part of the attackers. But at that time, when the DPP said that, I said the DPP, and he said yes. I said, I am in prison. And you asked me to come and lock up someone again, because it's all about that. If you want that, You release me to go home.
So you can command and
then you will be calling me to come and testify as a witness. But if you do not release me to go home, and you want me to come and become a witness, that is going to be very difficult.
So
at that point, we told him that we will have discussions with our people. That was on a Friday. When we returned, we had a discussion with our colleagues that we left behind. They said to us, don't accept it. If they don't release you, don't accept it.
So, they
took us back on a Monday because the DPP had said that we should return back on the Monday. When we returned on that Monday, he said that we should go to court. He was in his chamber. He said we go to court. I said to him, we are not going. Because we cannot do it. If you release us and we went home, we could come there. Otherwise, we will not do it. There was a bitter quarrel that day. In that situation, those of you that are in prison, you should have been killed. Those of you who are on life in prison. I said no, I did not accept. I said no. Well, since our court proceedings ended, we are in prison, but there was not talk about life or death sentence. When we were returned back, they called the judge. These people are talking about life, then give them the uniforms of the inmates.
So another command wala nyama in Sambela resource so you na infeng bonni ne kasola fengol dun.
So that was how he called us, took us to the reception. They took away our civilian clothes and gave us the uniforms of the inmates.
So waro alka life la. Anima apia ko pour ka danga because madu mendi ko life te lono.
That was when they told us that you are now spending your entire life here. But that was not said to us. Martin Mendem never said that to us.
But you would admit, Mr. Witness, that you don't have any documents to show this.
Bari sedo ebe son nanyi malako kaitite bulu ebe mentan le commission la jang ko sabatindi.
No kaite mbulu simme irande commission bari kaitol men yan ko aborna beri ni wakeran beri o fengol dun tolanu.
There is no document, but when we were given those uniforms,
so we
were in prison there again. They did not relent. After some time,
they
wrote a letter from the courthouse and requesting my presence and Esa Balde. When they said that, I knew directly that it was concerning the issue of Abulai Sonko.
So,
when they called us to the reception and took us back in the cells, we told our people.
So ni esa vesilo kanga hani alkalo na kumandi kare dangura be memfole ye la moy bal jabiro obo bolo itolo bulun ko mote odune da ko.
I was with Esa, and on the way going I told him, even an alkalo, when he calls you, you have to go and answer, but whatever response you give to him, that has to be what comes from your own mouth.
So mbeje naran samba court,
and so they took us to court.
So birian samba court pour say the agency Abulai Sonko.
They took us there to testify against Abulai Sonko. So that was when it was made clear to us that we are now spending our entire life in prison. Since we have refused to testify against Abulai Sonko. That was when they told us that you are now been sentenced to life. Up till now, they did not relent. They took us to court to testify against Abulai Sonko.
Did you testify against him?
Poete sediaro di la banka atakamba.
The was sediaro di abaradi ta nyaman kana wolto fone.
That
testimony
was given, but I shall tell you how it went about.
So birin daraji.
So when we got there,
so kata ko GPP ni mai fari na problem o so ida maltem.
We were going to court and coming back, and at the time the DPP and my party had a problem.
So for la from my arrest la.
Until they nearly arrested my party.
Soldier roll samananje lundo.
One day they brought soldiers there to arrest my.
Lawyers
Lawyers came there, both male and female. The whole place was full. They all sat down there.
So
they spoke to them.
But
the judge that was there, that was a carpenter judge. He locked Baba.
What do you mean by carpenter judge?
That judge was a carpenter here in the Gambia. He knows our entire end, where we come from.
So
he was the one they made a judge.
Justice Paul.
Justice Paul.
Justice Paul.
Justice Paul.
Justice Paul.
Paul. Because at the phone dollar
he was a carpenter here. He told me that from his own mouth when we went to court.
So he ended up following the box.
I was the first witness on the box.
So
and they were questioning me if I knew Ablai Sonko. I was in the witness box and Ablai Sonko was in the other box.
3 days.
3 days? Where I was with them. If I go there in the morning and I stand in the box
almost 1 o'clock
until almost 1 o'clock.
So they
kept asking me questions. They could not get anything from me. Because there were some questions that they asked me. Some of them were in my statement. They have already sentenced me. So when they asked me, I'll tell them that I will not answer because I am not here for any court case. They asked me, do you know this man? I told them I don't know him. I have never seen him. They said to me, but you are with him in mile 2. I told them mile 2 is wide. And he is not in the same place with me. They told me, but you come together with him in the same vehicle. I told them I never saw him there.
So GPP.
So the DPP. But at that time, journalists were allowed in. Sometimes when I come out of the witness box,
family members or any
the journalists, family members, and ordinary Gambians will come and dash us some money.
Let me ask you this question. During your own trial, the times you were going to court, were you at any time tortured by prison officers?
For prison do kulal, for what is sort of dalabang in an ebute lungomenaba, deliver.
That usually happened. When we are going to court, some prison officers and some soldiers were there. We used to lie on our bellies on the truck, and our hands were cuffed behind us, and we lied on our bellies. And that was how we lay down before we will get to the court and alight. My friend, that was usually a problem. And when we disembark, you will hear the chains, clinging all the way. And we are always in those chains in the box. And when we are coming to, so the vehicles were always parked under the sun. So if you climb that truck and you are made to lie on your belly on that truck, if your heart is always about to break, because of the heat from the iron. That was the manner in which they brought us out.
How about any beatings by prison officers?
There was one man they call Manga. His hand is having a problem. There was another one called Manga. He's a fat guy.
So
they kept beating us up.
And
just as Sefla and his people. And Jayo himself and his crew.
So
they kept beating us.
Men like Buba Mendi.
They were other soldiers like Buba Mendi. There was one other called Pamudu Khan. He was also there.
The duty at the time.
The soldiers that were on duty at the time. And you get to know them, know the soldiers who usually escort you.
Do you know a person called Jagite?
Yes, I know Jagite.
What can you tell us about him?
He was there, even though he did not torture anyone, but when they are beating people, he never asked them to stop.
Those who are beating, would they be under Jagite's authority?
Yes, he got la kamala koro because lastly Buba Mende in Aro Aresle, Yasamana might be Basamana Lumana. Alam Kitty Tailat.
Yes, they were under his authority. In fact, lastly, Buba Mende was arrested, and the day that he was brought to the prison. God is great. The day that they were bringing him in and they were putting handcuffs in his hands, I was standing there. I thanked the Almighty. I said to him, even if this one should spend just one day here in prison and he's released,
Alhamdulillah.
Praise be to God.
You are telling us when Jobate came to prison and they came to talk to you. What happened?
Iko yebe mfoka nye kukabiringi Jobate muraya na di kasoro. Itaraka diamuye. Muna keta.
Jobate biri asamana ndebe selo mendo.
When they brought Jobate to the cell where I was,
number 4 waro embonna number 1 yensamana number 4.
At the time I was taken from number 1 to number 4.
Ndela selo vita.
I cleaned his cell.
I
welcomed him and I cleaned his cell for him. I told him what has happened has happened. We can forgive, but as for forgiving, as for remembering, forgetting, we will not forget. And wherever in the world that I am asked about this, I can say it. Not Jobate alone. Fodebare was brought there twice. In fact, for him, in the end, he was not always comfortable meeting with me. And I sent one of them with whom he was in the same cell, and I told him to ask him to come. And when he came, I told him I have forgiven, but I will not forget. And wherever I am asked, I will narrate it. When you were doing it to me, you did not believe that you will end up here. You thought I was an enemy of the state. So this was what happened between me and him.
If all those people you mentioned, Baba Dinding Jobate,
Harisambu,
Odebari, Salmina Drame, Joe Mendi, those are the ones I can remember off the top of my head. Samsar. If all those people were to come here and accept that they have tortured you, would you be willing to forgive them and to reconcile with them?
I swore to God that if they come here and accepted, I forgive them. Because God has passed judgment between me and them. Even Salmina himself was brought to the cell, to the jail. That alone is enough.
Alhamdulillah.
Praise be to God. Since you said I was an enemy of the state, you have not taken me to the state, to the cell for any other thing until except for a coup d'etat. But they took you to this jail for something which is not the same with mine.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.
Praise to God. When you were doing it, you did not believe, and God passed judgment, and that they are now here with me. To God, I will forgive. But wherever they ask me about this, until the day that I die, I will always narrate it.
You told us about your father having been brought to the NIA. You are on the oath. Was he tortured?
Well, as for my father, all I can say is that he was told very harsh words. In my presence, while I was being tortured, they told him so many horrible things. After that, they took me away, and he spent a couple of days there. So within that, he was touched. He did not tell me, but he said he used to have pain behind his back, the back of his head.
So your belief is that he was tortured?
I believe that he was tortured because my father wasn't like that before. At this point in time, my father cannot explain anything to anyone. He cannot tell anybody anything. Cannot tell anybody anything as to what happened to him. I am the only one who can explain what happened, or those who witnessed back home when he was arrested and they were not that young. They may be the only people who can talk about what happened to him.
You are subsequently released. Why?
You mean from prison?
Yes.
Yes, they eventually released me, but I had spent a long time in prison. I don't think there has been any set of prisoners during Yajame's time who have spent a longer time in jail than us.
So animal many alcohol case samana dolbe ni samana bite sambala karefa like nganyiba kanyi nganyiba kanyi
Yaje mile to prison.
Nyaje mile to prison life and
direct.
Nyake solo takang.
Da mankanye kokori.
How do you know that was Kanyiba?
Yalo nyadi le wala Kanyiba kanyi.
Ngani nenkale itelam tumara kon kanyiba kanyi boramendo Jara Jason.
I asked him, who are you? And he said, I am Kanyiba Kanyi. Where are you from? And he said, I am from Jara Jason.
So I don't tell mess body because I don't got domorol supply le. Kujamal bejanga long prison. At Tambira Siakon.
At that time, I was a mess boy. I was the one supplying food. I was the one supplying. I was supplying food. So I.
1964, 2014.
I knew many things about the prison. I was there for 19 years.
Few
months.
Yeah, so
we were told that the prisoners were fed with a carrion, that is rotten meat of a dead cow that was brought to the prison. Is that true?
Ngani moiko kasolankol membe kasoto ike balondi ni domorola me surtout subo ni so me alanko ni siji faringola.
I witnessed that. It's not that someone told me about it.
Okay, who is responsible for bringing that carrion, that dead cow, rotten cow to the prison?
Jamal be marli wala kaw ni si jifari ngonati kase oto je.
David Colley.
We received information that after that food was served, several people died in the prison after consuming it.
Kibaro soto ko biri ye oni si jifari ngonati kaso bungoto je ya kata ya busuje ya di kaso lankola mo Jamal soto ndaje meno ya lanko ifata je. Andung ya man sababu fenna na manke o subu tolli ngote
mo sorta je men pare bi ko jama be je nyinate tolla baddo be je me an ko ka fa 6 million.
Yes, many people died there, but I cannot remember their names. But there was one person called 6 million.
6 million yalo dol be je brio nisi frawni samananje.
When they brought that dead cow there.
Sa kende mama be je tole o sambela suol kon.
So the good part of it, they took it to their homes. At that time,
inarambula kaso kono so sai kaje ngadun la jama do wala na mo jama be men yalon ko ye samananje ya jamere time ngamo jama lon.
I was a mess boy and I was a little bit freer. And so David Colley said to me, well, there is the remaining part of the meat. Whosoever can eat it, let them eat it, otherwise let it be. So because of being that mess boy, I was able to know many people there. Those that came to prison at the time, I got to know a lot of them.
So 6 million, that
6 million was a madman.
So
people did not eat lunch, they did not eat dinner because that meat was served for both lunch and dinner. Some people were there, they were mad, and you could not refuse or deny them to eat. But people like us, apart from the breakfast, we did not have lunch. And many other people of that kind were there.
Because in
fact, the reason why that incident became so well known was as a result of Musa Suso's problem. He had a problem with David. Because they came inside the prisons to conduct a search. They said that they found a SIM card.
So in Arasamba drug squad, waro fange jamele beje waro ole be drug, yeah. Waro jamme kundan ko be wara bandala sande na be no Senegal exile la bonza.
At that time,
Benedict.
They took him to the drug squad. At the time, Benedict Jammeh was the one there. So and we were in Senegal with him in exile.
Musa so samba yo time Musa na rani sikiri role be ta kol manga za bu fon safala bu ko fulasa kol manga ki kaso kono evra be sa bu ko so waro le na rani ni sifure ko je.
So it was Musa Suso who wrote everything about what is happening in the prison, including this dead cow. And
bari o time on dolta bondi no bari ka funyole sa challa jang na falu ma jang ata fintla bunda bar la framen namba wala kalale.
Because that time we couldn't get that information out because they usually told us that we can do anything to you here and you will not be able to take it out of this place.
So you were released after 19 years and some months on the basis of a presidential pardon.
Yebula sanyi tumala men na ye sanji tang anin kononto kari woro yala inarne bula mun kankan wala mu president e kango men di pour ka yamfa moli ibula taw molle kono yamfa moli ni
mbula taw yamfa molle kono.
Yes, we were part of the pardon.
Was it 2014 or 2015?
2014 number of 2015.
Amra 2014 nanda ne manyana.
I think it was 2014 if I have not forgotten.
What did you do after you were released?
Yemuna ke biri ibula den kola.
Biri mbula nkoto mana ran no mano.
When I was released, my older brother came to collect me.
Ayin sambara suwa kono.
He took me to his house. It's called Modu Jang.
Anindoma Alaji.
And my younger brother Alaji.
Anin nadoma koton Seni.
And one other younger brother of mine called Seni.
Seni Kanteh.
Seni Kanteh.
Anindoje kafa Barlanding.
There's one also called Barlanding. These were the people who came to collect me and took me home.
So did you remain in Gambia or did you go somewhere else?
I did not stay here long. After I was released, I went into exile. Because at that time, if I spend the day in one place,
so
the next day, my family will take me to another place to spend the night there. And this is how I was alternating the places that I stayed in. I did not initially want to leave the country, but my father said to me, if you stay here, I will not forgive you. And if you went away, wherever you may be in this world, you have my blessings.
The NIA told you during your torture sessions that you would not function again as a man.
NIA yenyi mfoe ko watu mena be bute gamba de be tajire ya kan ko be kala molde me yalon ko ite tamala ko tanke ila ke ya.
Yes.
So what happened in there?
Muna keta ko nyi nyala bangoni.
After ko rabindara Senegal no.
After that, when I went to Senegal,
so mfama nara muso do nyini.
My father got a wife for me.
So ya samana nyina Senegal.
And they brought her to me in Senegal. Her name is Mariama Kuyate.
So
she was young.
So
and when they brought her,
so
and gave her to me,
so
I could not perform.
So
despite how hard I tried, I tried all means, going to Marabou's, taking the tablets, nothing worked. I could not function at the time.
So
and she's my relative. Because she is related to me from my uncle's side and also on the grandparents' side.
So,
and for that reason, we were in that situation until there was a new government in place. When this new government took over, when I returned,
so family
because of the family did not want a divorce,
so not a family commandi.
I then called the family,
a farmer,
her father, called Umar Kuyate. I said to him, please forgive me. Let us forgive one another. She's young. She has done nothing wrong to me. I am the old one who is unable to do something for her. So before I will waste her time, let her look for a man who will marry her.
So
you'll see that within that, I will continue trying to take medication. If God gives me good health anytime, I can then look for a wife. So I was in that situation, staying in with one of my friends in Brikama, called Sanadahaba. He's the director at disaster management.
So
he asked me to stay in his house because he liked me.
So but after
that, I said to him, well, now I want to transfer to Babylon. If I have a place where to stay, I will go to Babylon.
So
then they informed me that there was a place where I could live in. My friend Mustafa Jadama, he is here seated.
So
he called me and then said to me that there is a house here. If you liked it, you can come and stay there. Then I said to Sana, please allow me, let me go and stay there. So I was in that situation. Then I allowed Mariama to free her, but before I allowed her to go, I told Mustafa and his wife
Bintu, name sister Nyamenaro.
The sister that I came along with.
So Nara Fai, woman sister Tifangasa.
That's my sister.
So Nara Fai.
I told her.
Na condition explain.
I explained my condition to them.
Manu made.
I did not hide anything from them. I told them everything. They told me, well, there is a woman here, but she's well-off. But if you want her, but she was once married, but she is divorced. So, but if you liked her, she's here, she's a good neighbor. If you like, we can go into those, make the arrangements. Where they told me that, directly I accepted. I said I liked her. They told me, someone that you have not seen and already you like her. I told them that you will not put me in a place where, which is not good. That Mustafa Jadama and Bintu Kujabi. So I told them they are my host in Babylon. Very good people of mine.
You continue to take treatment, right?
Yes, I was taking treatment at the time. So within that, I married this woman. But when I was marrying her, many members of my family were worried. They were worried. Because in prison, many people people that they brought to the jail that I was assisting, because no one prays to find anyone in prison, but within those people, when I was released, those people that I acquainted with, they told me, look for a wife. When you find one, tell us and we will assist you. I said, fine. People like O.J. Jallo, people like Khalifa Sallah, people like Amadou Ba, Pierre Mendy, Masa Kamara, Umar Fall.
Which Umar Fall?
Umar Fall. Kafana Umar Fall.
Mbake. Ha. They call him Umar Fall, Mbake, yes.
So
I acquainted myself with all of them in prison.
So and
there's one short man, my friend, Landin Sane.
So
they stood and on that issue for me.
So
when I found this woman,
so
Mustafa did the facilitation.
So
and then they chose a head of delegation.
So
to go to the place. Fakeba Sise.
So
and he facilitated the whole process. So what
any information?
Whatever information he brings from that place, he will tell Mustafa and Bintu.
In the end, you got married. Yes, when they gave me the approval, I told my colleagues whatever anyone has, let them bring it together, and eventually I married her. And with the help of God, you are now able to get a child.
Yes,
the woman, the wife is here called Ramucham with the child.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I have no further questions. Just to remind, I have some exhibits to put in.
Actually, I wanted the child to say hello to the commission. And at some point, we will get to that. But go ahead, the council.
Thank you. The photograph, side view photograph of the witness showing injury scars on his arms should be exhibit 178, and the photograph showing bones below his belly button and on his stomach. That should be 178A. And the photograph showing injuries to the or scars to the left nipple should be 178B. And photograph showing the chest of the witness with one nipple missing and one nipple present should be 178C. There is also a more detailed photograph of the right arm of the witness, also showing scars. That should be exhibit 178D. With your permission, Mr. Chair.
Request granted, Council. Thank you very much, Council, and thank you, Mr. Mballow Kanteh.
Kiaman ko inumbarabake Council, inumbarabake Mr. Mballow Kanteh ila sede andiroto.
We are again truly sorry that you had to endure such horrific torture in the hands of NIA agents.
Wahaninga bimba fale masa kuol lamella te kang andui masoto mobulu foi yasoto menubulu wala munna banko tanko bunda molti.
I have just 2 points to raise with you, if you don't mind.
Ni ku fanna saba wala fulal be mbulu jang lala flan ni mentala ni ngadra abisoto no le mbasoto no le to.
When your nipple was cut and you were bleeding, was there anybody around to give you first aid, stop the bleeding and some treatment?
Bleeding yere mara sunjo nyun kundu fo wato men na yelo be findi kan fo motar tay barabaro la jele bang ketare de ma kan de maro la memu jara lo la fondo fanna folo nyinti bang
akundrun kola bang fo.
Was it after it was cut or?
Yes.
De ka doctor ol samana njelo time puruka ma ko ko time keso man sing ora fa yo jara ko keso mam bonde fo 2014 keso ni nga findin sing ora.
Yes, they usually brought their doctors to assist me because at the time too I had the injury from the gunshot and that bullet remained in my thigh until 2014 before I was able to remove it.
I'm referring to the cutting of the nipple and the bleeding coming from that at that moment.
No man time.
I did not have, I had no assistance at that time. There was no help at all.
How long did the bleeding go?
No time out for Zafoko. What are for Galao Nyamala Fanokara Nyama?
I lied down like
that. Jani yellow stop, but comes a dema yellow stop by Buru.
It took a few days before the bleeding stopped through the help of God. It's not that I got any medical assistance which stopped the bleeding.
Fine. This one is a general question, and I'm not asking you or giving you a high school or university question of compare and contrast a particular point.
Nyini kardo nyini karme ka fanura ba kele mbaka nyini kala nyala kavoko fo etwa bu karong idara for high school or university londi karong kele.
Your experience in Liberia and in the Gambia.
Ila londo to yemen so Liberia and in Gambia.
You were involved in the same purpose, but different consequences arose.
Bari ida betarli ida yeda bula ku kilingol do mealon ko hamen ku kilingol bari ko nyin ko membeje ifarata le.
You were in Liberia with Charles Taylor attempting to change the government there.
Benun Liberia in Charles Taylor alba kata kaneno puru kamansa kunda falling.
You said you had what amounted to almost a royal treatment.
Ye maraje ko nyala me alon ko ikam da mansa.
You had 18 female bodyguards around you.
Ko musutang aning sey wala so me alon ko wala ke kanta.
You felt comfortable there very much.
And ni wol be barabaro la ikatara ifansori ke fansoro bakele.
And you came to the Gambia.
Inata Gambia Bangkok.
Same purpose.
O hamen ku kilimo.
Involved with some people to change the government.
Indindo kotangoli a wulita puruka masa kunda falling.
Yeah, you endured horrific torture, as I mentioned earlier. As a young African and a Gambian, was it worth it if you compare the two?
I said, no human being is perfect. I went to hustle.
So, nara bula en kolo kono mandram fambulu comme ça hisitram fambulu isi fambon no je nyam.
Then I found myself in this situation, and I was not in control of the situation, because if you are in control of the situation, you can get yourself out of it. If I could have got out of this situation since in Libya, then I wouldn't have gotten to Liberia in the first place. Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. If you have any
questions. Silang Commissioner ninga tra momo yini karosro ya itandi.
Mamsi.
Commissioner Mamsi le bine yini kalab sedo.
Koto Mballow jërëjëf.
Thank you, Koto Mballow. We greet you and also thank you for the hardships. I have two questions to ask you.
The
The 1,500 individuals that you are leading. Who was paying them and who was also feeding them? And the experience and the position that you had there when you were a leader. In what condition did you accept that being there? Were they paying you, or were you there just because of your wish? Second question, Kukoy Samba Sanyang. The assignment is sent to you here for. Was he paying you, or were you just doing that out of your own pleasure? When he got you into this difficulty? And what did you plan for yourself while you were there that you will bring back to the Gambia? These are the questions.
Sorry. Baba says a room in Dumatin.
Of Suraka or
qualify.
Niga jite on fofu.
Akoy me itambira minu nyato nunje.
1,500 nit ñi nga xamantene ya leen téléphone.
O mo wili kilim mo kemelu lo ñi yalan koy tele be nyato.
1,500 individuals that you led.
Kan mo leen doon dundal ak kan mo leen doon fay.
Jumala ke balundi andu jumala fanan ke jo.
Who was feeding them and who was also paying them? You have asked a very important question. Thank you, Imam. At the time that I was in Liberia, the people that I led or the people that other people led, all of them, there was no payment for any one of them. It was not like there was payment for anyone at the end of each month. But from time to time, Because there was no permanent government in place.
So,
but however it was, since they are blessed,
so control area.
Many areas were under our control. And these facilities, nobody came to take them away.
Outside country, any businessman
except businessmen from other countries. Liberia is a blessed country. They have 5 ports. So the things that come in, some things like iron ore, and therefore once in a while Charles Taylor will call a group and give them money. Since they are mostly Christians, for instance, the feast that is about to come in this month, he will not discriminate to say whether this one is Christian or Muslim. He will just disburse monies to everyone. And when the Tawaski or Korite comes around, those of us who are from the Gambia, he will also remove a token and give it to us, because he knew that we were Muslims. So that was the only thing. There was no permanent pay.
ñaari laajte bi mooy ku koy sama sañang da ngeen waxtaanoon ak moom fay wala moom def leen puusoon rek ngeen ñëw dugg ci jafe-jafe
ko ñinin kar fulan jaw mendi wala ñindi ko ku koy samba sañam fo al nakata jolla ban fo ayal tal dong al ñori jan dong pour aller na jang na boyin kawon
na man kacha jola na man kacha comme ça sembo babul dong time oro.
The second question is, did you the second question is, did you arrange any payment plan with Kukoy Samba Sanyang, or did he just push you to come here and get involved in this activity of yours? There was no payment arrangement between him and us that he will pay us. It was just through force.
Thank you, Commissioner Kanteh. You have the floor.
Commissioner Kanteh la fana bine ñinin kala. Sedo.
Assalamu alaikum, Mballow.
Wa alaikum salam.
Ngeen ni ku yaay tandi e batal ni jarabol menduke.
I express my sadness for the hardships that you have encountered. Our very own people who were expected to treat you based on the law and the rules and regulations failed to do so. I am touched by one of the things you said in your testimony. That is, they are bringing of Kanyiwa Kanyit into mile 2. I will want to ask a few questions on that issue, and I really want you to assist me. I want you to tell me, if I told you no, the day that he was brought in there, what day is it and what time is it? I'd like you to tell me. Thank you, Commissioner. That question is pleasing to me. Because mile 2 is a place whereby if someone is brought there and then taken out to be killed, there are many people that I know. Many. Kanyiba Kanyi, when he was brought in,
number 5.
They took him to number 5.
So number 0.
There,
the mess boy.
I was a mess boy.
So
I went there. When I went there, I supplied him food personally. It was not like somebody took the food from me. I gave it to him personally. And I said to him, relative, where are you from? He told me I'm from Jara Jasong.
Jamburu I stayed laughing Jamburu nyinata wol laughing.
He told me where he stayed, but I have forgotten.
So nga idea kwa.
I told him really, and he said yes.
Nga nda fona mujaran ko lete.
I told him, well, I am also a Jaranka.
Sign na fang nyinata muso to bara muso fang to fo nyara fang.
It's only now that I have forgotten the name of the wife, but he had told me his wife's name.
Nga ko ne ajen tol fana be jan kay nyin ngar sifari.
I told him, you see, the fact that we are here, we also make these inquiries.
Nini dictator be nyora.
If you are living with a dictator,
so fo nyin ngar sifa ni moment sama jan katra hawdirim pour kalon ite bota min dole ani jumala motere because emine kama waro menna e be sambala waro menna wari tala.
We are always interested in making inquiries to know whosoever is brought here as a detainee, so that we know where you are from, the time that you were brought here, and the time that you are taken out, because there is no specific time which they may take you away.
You see someone as science, because they
can bring you just immediately, and in a few minutes' time, you'll be weeks away.
So
and they will make you disappear just like that.
So another woman.
But the day that he came there, truly, we used to have use other means and write it in small letters on the walls. But at that time, if you were caught with a pen or if they saw any writings or a paper, if they beat you, you will not narrate that to anyone.
So, if
at all it was then, I could say, but for now, I have forgotten the day. But the day that he was taken away, I have not forgotten that.
2006 election day, voting became waterman.
I may remember, forget the day, but in 2006, the very day that the elections were taking place, the time that people were voting, the time when the voting was taking place, you know, at that time, people were concentrated on that. That was when they took him away.
So, everything.
They put a plastic bag over his head, and they took him. That was the last time we saw him, and we had the belief that that was the very day that they killed him.
Okay.
And other people. How many days did he spend there with them before they took him away to kill him?
It could be
he was arrested and detained in some other place, because sometimes they did that before they brought him to Mile 2, but it cannot be more than 3 days.
Tomorrow about many are someone anka register J.
Maybe those who brought him in to have him registered, you may not be in a position to know them, since the registration is usually done at the gate.
But security wing hand over prison warden.
But there were some officers who usually will come with him until at the security wing, where they will then hand him over to the prison officers.
Ni wol imo ke fana ni hand over ma reception do or prison warden lena kana selo yele ka dundi.
If that is not also the case, and even if they had handed him over at the reception, those prison officers at the reception would normally be the ones to bring him all the way to his cell.
Malong fo ila fahamuro futatale prison warden jumale asamananka dayele kadundi seloko.
I don't know whether you are in a position to know which particular prison warden brought him from the reception to open the cell and put him inside there.
Butung nyinata wala was kanyo falin dolbeje ka juri ke somanda oleji 4 o'clock dole sel 4 o'clock oleji 10 o'clock numembe sel 10 o'clock wol karaje fo fanoyke.
I have forgotten that, because they used to change shifts. Some will close work at 4, and others will mount and close at 10 o'clock. Those who mount at 10 o'clock will only close the following morning.
So ganyuma puru kata ka finni hani biriya de samanandro biriya dundije pour ka finni je ka sambaru lado wo kirawo lunkelon biriya finde o botas de biriya tata to abanda
I can say I can say that since he was brought
I can
say that he was not brought out because the only time that I can say with certainty that he was brought out was the very day of the elections when they took him away. But it could be that they used to bring him out and when they were bringing him back inside, would nobody not be there.
Yeme yitande wala mo indite men kala muta doron sinya kilini a samanang do man tambi telefula sabala ya bondi abenta carte fay lungole fe wolum fana ya fa atol lam jerodo wala la miro
what you believe is that sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Nkam mem fo wala mo nyinte ko atol sinya kilindor na ya je ya samana.
What I'm saying is, as far as you were concerned, it was only one time you saw him being brought in.
And you call Mamira Tilisaba CJ, or Mosafo, Tilifulan and Tilisaba Temalemu, I would run nekeji.
And you said that you don't think that he stayed there for long, it's between 2 and 3 days.
Yes.
And you call Kate Fai Lumolemu, Yamute in Arambuso Black Molaka Samba.
And you said it was the day of the You said it was the day of the election. You said it was the day of the elections that they put a plastic bag over his head and took him out to kill him. Was it early morning, just as the sun was rising in the afternoon or in the night? And the witness said it's night time. If Abulai Songo were here, if he were here, but he's late. He could be succumbed to the torture and all these hardships. After we were released, he died. But if he were here, you would have corroborated my statement. Those who put this plastic bag over his head and took him away.
Malon fo ni emiro ke tenkunda hakilo be amuta nolal hani kono mo killing kongo jele ngasu tela bulata mol konole bring menu be bandala mile 2 waram prison police ol menu be je warani wonde prison police jumale dayele ka I
don't know if you steady your mind and reflect back on the incident. You can remember anybody who was in that material moment when this plastic bag was put over his head, or which prison warden was the one that opened the cell door for him to get in. You know, the time that they used to come to pick people up, that time used to find us inside.
So
if it finds me inside, those of you who are together, or sometimes your cells are close to the other cell door. So in that situation, when these junglers are coming, they used to wear masks, so to know exactly which individual. Except you were among them, and that time we were virtually strangers, we did not know much about Gambia. And since we were inside, we could not know exactly which officer was there who actually opened the cell door.
In
the night of the elections,
exactly ba haimala wati jumalemu inata daele mulmang mau sotono sign but wato simako enole wati jumale exactly inata ka bondi ka sam.
You may not be able to say exactly what time it was.
So carte konto be kering kabo round 10 kata 11 o ma famara
at the time the elections were already done and
carte konto be kering so time lay nata kaman
talantan kata talantan nin
between
kilen
10
ma ho nata kam ba mol be listing kan
and 11
wala tondi la
when the votes
result kana waro man
we have been counted
no waro result because o time monro tambulde
and the results were been announced.
Monro tambul ba ni o mrewul ena ni e furando rebe kala furawo
At the time, I did not have a watch because if they caught you with a watch and took you to the NIA, you would become a corpse.
awala na nga lonka fo e wato haima
Which is why I am telling you to estimate the time.
kabo talantan fo 12 mafa
From 10 to 12.
lan e kata fo kile talan kile lan kibaro ben na lead council ma ko elal
Up to 1.
so alhamdulillah barakabat
Thank you.
Commissioner Samba, followed by Commissioner Carr.
Commissioner Samba, wala fanang kane nyininka.
Balo inimbara.
Thank you, Balo.
Barka.
Nafte nyininka la nyininkar dantanela.
I want to ask you a few questions.
Nyininkari follow wala myinti kon lafte nyininkari ko kari woro.
First question is, you said 6 months.
Alimeku.
You did not take bath.
Fo kari woro kono.
Within that 6 months,
Foi kal alawle ni sali wato sita leta sali.
did they ever allow you to observe your prayer times?
Yeah. Moment ni alonko yende tra alquran karam alquran hore.
Someone, they found me reciting the Holy Quran.
Be alquran o karanga.
I was reading the Quran.
Molen fuale ka fo ko last ko bul boja.
Someone borrowed the book to me called Lance Koblan Bojang.
Abura birkamal.
He's from Brikama.
So wolen fu alquran hore.
He borrowed me the Al-Quran.
Be alquran o nyen karanga.
And I was reciting it.
So manda.
In the morning.
Inar.
They came.
Brinar do bundaile.
When they came, they opened the door.
Yinen tulo fadi waro man.
They slapped me.
Ko nyako inyande remem fara.
They told me, you that is supposed to be killed.
Ite ka alquran o karam.
And here you are reading the Quran.
So nindol purka sali.
So for us to pray,
never be able to jolo be sangolan dul bugas ikate mamu konkiri ko la kando ye nyatli ala la
your hands were
cuffed
and your feet were shackled, so you just put your hands on the ground, and so, in whatever manner you pray, God will accept it. And when they were taking that Al-Quran from me, Sefla was the one who led a team to come to me.
So
when he came, he caused a very serious insult. Since we are Mandinkas, he said, you Mandinkas, and he caused my mother that you are the ones who want to overthrow our government.
So
So they are going to kill you people.
So
So that was how they took the Al-Quran away from me. And so I stood at the door, at the cell door. I told them, this Al-Quran that you are taking away, on the day of judgment,
what's that?
Before we cross Sarat,
the
Al-Quran will pass judgment between us.
So
they told me that is what you are saying, and I told them yes. They came back and opened the door.
So Sefla.
So Sefla. The other manka who had a faulty hand called the manga plugger, and the other fat manka, they came inside and they beat me up. I told them, well, if it is on the because of the Quran that you are beating me up, that I am going to repeat that, saying that until the day of judgment, that the Quran will be a witness between me and you people. Much more prayers.
Because even late Aliuba,
even late Aliuba was beaten until he lost consciousness. Secondly,
I
think if I heard well,
Ko 20 liters bidon e ka wala kuntu tema.
You said they will cut the 20-liter gallon in the middle.
And
that was where you eased yourselves?
Yes.
Yes.
So, kuberte wala femfente wala.
So there was no cover, nothing on it? No cover, nothing. It was just there beside us in the cell. The third one. You said while you were in Libya, you had a wife there.
No,
Liberia.
Yes, I had a wife in Liberia.
Did
you have a child with her? Yes, we had a child. Is that child here with you or there? That child is in Liberia because when I was leaving Liberia, she was just trying to work. Her name is Mballow Kanteh.
The chamber parts in the Robben Island had covers.
Commissioner
Carr, you have
Commissioner Carr,
thank you, Chairman. Sorry, Mr. Kanteh, for what you went through.
Mr. Kanteh,
my first question is, you told this commission that your father was brought in and you were tortured in his presence. I want to know if your other family members were victimized.
Lafta kamenyini nga wala mnyindiko ya fo ila sada rokono ko ye fama fana itata no kana ya nadi andung ya lipa anyala lafta kamelno wala mnyindiko fo ila bote fama la family la karola ila dimba la karola fo mo ko rendo so ndela bang ibulo la men kamba yemen nadi bang
ha na sister nyomo jame yo fana sambana wo fo meta je baka meta bulu baka.
Yes, my sister Nyomo Jame was there and she spent a long time there with them.
Thank you. The second is, what do you do for a living now?
Saying is inumbara ila saying thing ila baluoto imuna mula baluoto ka mun doku muna la ka balu menna
de jama mantra do ko la de
mostly I'm not working
be nga afro la
I do selling.
I try
get animals like sheep.
So when
I get sheep, I fatten them and I resell them. But since the advent of the coronavirus, sustenance became difficult for me and the family, since my family is in Jara.
So another difficult so manna continue no ala da.
It became difficult for me and I couldn't continue.
So sankaranda kafunyo malele atari.
So now I go to my friends, those that I knew while in prison, people like O.J. Jallo, people like Sanad Dahaba and others, and other individuals like Wasa and Permendi. So I used to go to them, and at the end of each month, whatever anyone lays his hands on, they dash me.
But right now,
I have nothing that I'm engaged in.
Thank you. My third question is, as Council has mentioned before this commission, some people may have died in the Farafenya attacks. Would you want to apologize to their families?
No human being is perfect. The reason why I said no human being is perfect, because we did not know that someone died there. But the information that you are now giving me here, in that, I used to hear such information, such news from people. They used to tell us. So we appeal, because it was because of our action, our own free will, our coming into Farafenni. That was the reason why that happened. We appeal to their families. We did not intend to come here to put Gambians to make Gambians suffer, because if that was our intention, we would have captured the Ajami in one of his meetings and disappeared. So that was the reason why I usually came to his meeting places to try to find out means through which someone may be able to carry out such plans. But sometimes when that's why we did this thing, because we did not have any other means. Because if we had succeeded at that time, the brutal killings and the disappearances, perhaps they might have not happened. Because God is the one who puts things the way they're supposed to be. So I appeal for forgiveness from them, so that they can forgive me. This is what I have to say.
My final question is on the use of, since you've gone through a lot from your training in Libya to your participation in Liberia. And even what happened here in the Gambia. What would be your advice, especially to young ones, on issues of violence, issues of peace, and using unconstitutional means to overthrow government? Silang muna bekeletela yamaro din dindingol to meno yalon ko be dumala be wulikan na muna bekeletela yamaro to ko la membe kisujiring Cairo fitinola aning Cairo aning kabunya roke luala maralola.
Question over there back.
That is a good question.
Cairo manyon.
There is nothing like peace.
So mbe yamaro kala menna.
So my advice is this: there is a time for everything.
So by but
that era has passed. We are into another era for people to change their minds and forget about those kind of things and not do them again. By the help of God, I advise everyone on that. I do not pray that what I got into, that someone else will get into it until the end of the world.
If there are no further questions from the commissioners, Commissioner Bojang, Manyima, you have the floor.
Commissioner Manyima Bojang, nefana lafte nyini nkala jana.
Mballow Kanteh. Lafte nyini nkala kuma kindola minketa kukoe la karola.
I want to ask you on the issue of Kukoe.
Every alla nyin coup d'etat baita fo akola biradunda nyin problem kuko ay ku kalam tajele bang abedami.
Since your failed coup attempt, until all these hardships that you went through, did Kukoi know anything about what was happening here? He knew everything until he had to even come back here when Charles Taylor was ousted from power. Until that time that we were in prison. OJ Jallo made a complaint that the people that Kukoi got into this problem, they have been arrested and they are in prison. And here is Kukoi in this country working freely and not being arrested. Then the truth is not being upheld. Yes. What have you learned from this? Just regret.
You may now proceed to making your final remarks if you have any, Mr. Kanteh.
Mr. Kanteh silang kiaman kamen fola ngindi ko isi tentang yela kumo fo ibela kumo da sorana menna ninga tra ya so be mem fola.
Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin.
Praise be to God.
Be Allah Ta'ala man so tendul.
I thank the Almighty God.
Bari ate man so me bendi jambi.
Because He is the one that enabled us all to be gathered here today.
Because what all sorora.
Because there were times to think that such a thing will happen just as we are here today.
Marema sata la drona ko TRRC lumomena ya jamela ko meno foning TRRC be so.
It was only God who knew when Jammeh's government will come to an end and when the TRRC will be established. If you told us this while we were in prison, we would have refused. But God's things are very quick.
So
but a human being, when you find yourself in a particular place, until you become so arrogant, He shows you that I am God and I put you in position. And any day that I need that position, I will take it away from you. And you will not even be aware. I will give you to the one that I please. Because God Himself said in the Quran, kingship is just a blessing, a gift. The people that are under you, if you don't rule them justly, I can take it from you and give it to one of them. That is what is there. I thank God the Almighty for the good work that you are doing. It's very pleasing to me because many things are being said. Even my coming here,
so
even within my family, many of them are afraid, they are scared, they are confused. But just as a human being is, if you don't know things, you are always in that state of mind. Some of my family members even told me that they will not watch television. They even thought that it's about my father. That if my father should hear my testimony here, he may think that I am involved in another problem and that may cause some psychological effects on him, which was why I asked my younger brother to be seated close to him and to calm him down. Just to make things clear, because if the truth is not established, there cannot be forgiveness. But any time that the truth is established, we would forgive one another. Even God Himself forgives. And every day we offend Him. So why is it that we human beings are not able to forgive one another? So let us forgive one another. It has happened. And you are carrying out your work. And I know they say many things against you. From bad things, insults, especially this Ezafal. It's a big thing. People are saying bad things, saying many things. But for God, if you are doing your work and you do it in an upright manner, God knows He protects you. And nobody can do anything about it. What you are doing is to let the world know what had happened here in the Gambia. What happened in the Gambia here is painful. Especially mile 2. Many people were brought there in my presence, and many were taken away in my presence who were killed. Many. Some were there. Haruna Jame. And his sister. After that, the chief of Biam, Dongombu and others, and Mustafa Nyas. Two of his brothers are old soldiers. So the first day he was arrested and brought there. He found me there, and the assistance I was rendering to him. He did not spend a long time there. When he went to Biam, he told his relatives that I found a person there called Mballow Kanteh. He assisted me. When he was released, he went, and not long after he was arrested again, they brought him there again. He did not spend much time there, and he was taken away. And that was how they were made to disappear. And two of his younger brothers who were soldiers, they came there. They went up the tower, and they called me and asked me. He said to me, we are asking about our brother. When he was initially arrested and released, the assistance that you rendered to him. And for that reason, we never saw him again when he was rearrested. And that was why your issue came to our mind, and we came here to ask you about him. I told them, well, I am in prison because I am my back is on the wall already. So anytime and they can collect me anytime and kill me. And you are in the service. What I am going to say to you, if they hear it from you, before they will get to me, they will fry you first. So I told them, your older brother has been killed. I told them, if he was here, I would have called him and you will see him. But they have killed him. So many instances like that. Even like Dabamare. I used to give him food, and I used to chat with him. So they collected them from there, and I was aware of it. And even the 9 death row inmates they killed. One of my brothers was there, a younger brother, called Lamin Jaju. So his father died. So the mother also died because she could not take the pressure. He's my brother. He was my brother. So for that reason, the good work that you are embarking on, may God reward you. May God also protect you and protect you. God is the one that protects his creation, and may God protect you and preserve you until your end of your job. This is my last statement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kanteh, for those wise words.
Mr. Kanteh,
we have a very solid team here at TRRC. We are not afraid. We are not going to be intimidated. The mandate given to us by the National Assembly, we will fulfill it to the best of our ability. And we thank you very much indeed for coming to share your experience, as difficult as it is, with us.
Tentu jai ila songola purkana ila kuola mella te kan koleal to kolera nyawanya ina dala ini moli o tala tiara si moli o tala ni dunia.
And again, I repeat, we are truly sorry that you had to endure so much.
And hanin kabimba fule ko imasa kuola mella te kan diminda bake.
We will end our proceedings here today and resume tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Nasio lola janne fo sama somanda talantanga na murnanja.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.